12 today on Big 12 Radio, heard exclusively on TuneIn, and you're watching us on Big 12 Studios. It's a Halloween Friday.
Yeah, where's your excitement level?
It's a Halloween Friday.
You're just like crawling into the opening segment on a Halloween Friday. Here we are, dressed up for the occasion.
Well, I found that I cannot wear headphones with my exquisite hat, so that threw me off. I mean, just seconds from us popping on here live, but we are decked out for this Halloween Friday.
Yes.
He's Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. Taman on the controls.
No?
And what does he say?
Come on down.
Okay, thank you, Taman. Cut the music here.
Thank you, Taman.
Cut
Get
the
in
music.
there.
Do you watch anything? Have you never seen The Price is Right?
Yes, I just don't remember what he says.
What?
Ari Temkin, come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Yeah.
James, did you get sick as a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, every Saturday.
There was nothing more iconic in your childhood than being sick from school and watching The Price is Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a contestant on The Price is Right, James.
I know that. I just couldn't remember what now Drew Carey says.
Now, it's not Drew Carey, it's the announcer.
The announcer.
Drew Carey comes out, but there's like a whole announcer guy. Can you hit the music again?
Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
right,
Let's go back in time. We're going to do it again.
Okay.
Here we go.
1, 2. Ari Timken, come on down.
There he is. Ari's dressed as a
You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
He's locked and loaded on this Halloween.
for tonight?
I don't know yet. Probably, maybe.
I mean, you don't know yet.
We got to get it all figured out. We had a makeup flag football game last night that just threw off the whole schedule.
Yeah, ours is Saturday.
So, I was maybe going to take a trip to trying to spend part of Halloween here and then spend it back in Kansas part of the weekend, trying to figure all that out.
I don't think you can do that though. Like Halloween's one night.
Right, Halloween's one night. So that's what we're working through that right now.
So you're
Am I going to leave after trick or treating, drive halfway? Am I going to leave this afternoon? TBD.
So you're either going to stay here to trick or treat with your family here or go back to Kansas and trick or treat.
Yeah, we'll get it all figured out.
I love how you're like, it's not like a whole weekend celebration. It's like a one-day thing.
It's a one-day thing.
James like gets to Salina and he's like goes door to door on November 1st. Knock, knock. My kids are in costumes.
Was I searching for activities to do on November 1st? Yes, I was. We'll get it all figured out.
Look, give my kids some candy. All right, I wasn't with them last night. Let's go. Give them some candy.
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, I mean, my neighborhood, huge party. Can't wait. Blast. I mean, it's funny. We've got friends who host parties in their blocks, their neighborhoods, but no, we're not going to be bothered with any of that. We stay in our neighborhood, stay on our block, go trick-or-treating up and down the block, see the neighbors. Probably be walking around with some Modelo's if you see me. Modelo
Okay.
me. Yeah. So,
Party hard.
of course, not out. They'll be in a cup. It's illegal to be having an open container.
Right.
So, I'm just kidding. I'll be drinking Modelo at my house while handing out candy.
Perfect.
How does that sound?
Inside.
That sounds
indoors,
way more legal.
in a legal area.
Sounds way more legal. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Not walking around my neighborhood with an open container. That's illegal.
This is a Halloween Friday. Taman, Ari, this ain't a bakery. It's a broadcast. That's what we're doing right here.
What I don't get is the hat.
I like the slow drawl accent.
What do you know?
Well, that's just normal for James.
I feel like
my
it's
badge
a little
says
more to that.
security, but my heart says fiesta. What you got?
No,
What's wrong with my hat?
nothing's wrong with your hat. It's a good hat.
It's a sombrero.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Looks like a hat you got from your wife.
It's a sombrero, cowboy hat
It's
hybrid.
like a sun hat. It's
Is it my wife's sun hat that she wears to the pool and will be very upset when she finds out that I jacked it for this segment? Maybe.
I love that Damon just do it's a sun hat. Like I couldn't identify the name of the hat. To me, it looks like some sort of straw hat.
Time out. We got a code red. They dropped a 9 into coverage, and I see 7 tortillas in section 232. We're going to take you down. We're going to take you down. We're going to send you right back to wherever you got that packet of guacamole dip down there in El Paso. We're ready to roll.
How country do you think they are in Lubbock?
Well, I think in this position, very country.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, I'm thinking like Western Texas law, landman.
Oh yeah, this would be a good series here.
I'm telling you.
What would we call it? Like stop the tortillas, tortilla stoppage,
Tortilla takedown.
tortilla takedown.
Okay.
Starring James Westling as security guard Roberts,
Deputy Dip. Tortilla Tom.
Tom Dip.
Big fan of Joey McGuire. I guard that man like he's a brisket on a Sunday smoker.
Favorite part of Halloween?
Dressing up, of course.
Really?
Right? Yeah,
That's it?
totally.
For me, it's the stealing candy from my candy. It's not stealing. We call it the dad tax, the mom and dad tax. You know.
All right, I got to remove the hat so I can hear you better.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, now we're back. We're back.
So now you're back to James Westling. You're
Yeah, I'm James again.
Deputy Tip.
Deputy Dip.
Deputy Dip.
Just the James Tip or Deputy Dip. All right, Tortilla Tom and Deputy Dip.
What a duo.
Happy Halloween, James.
You too. So you steal their candy?
No, it's the dad tax. I pay for everything else in their lives, ever since they were born, and all I get is once a year, first dibs on their candy.
First dibs. So you take
Yeah.
all the good stuff.
Not all of the good stuff, but what I think is good stuff may differ from what my kids think is good stuff, which is the key.
Should we power rank top 3 Halloween candies right now?
Yes.
Okay, what are they?
Well, I'll tell you what number one is, and everybody would agree on this. And if you don't, then you're not a
Reese's
real.
Peanut Butter Cups.
Boom. See, like it's almost universal.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is, too. Now with our friend Taman here.
Hello.
Taman doesn't like peanut butter.
Yeah. But I'm see,
I actually love Reese's peanut butter cups.
How do you feel about candy corn?
see, he doesn't even like peanut butter.
Doesn't even make sense, Taman.
That's what I'm saying. Like peanut butter cups,
They
are
are
a
amazing.
universal favorite of
Chocolate.
everybody.
Flour is a felony around here.
We're gonna have like 35 tortillas to pick up.
We're gonna get fined.
By the way, that would be amazing if the security guards at Joe's AT&T chucked tortillas at people.
That's
as
what
like,
we're doing. That's what we're doing.
It's like a
Around here.
like throwing flags.
Yeah.
like throwing flags, throwing tortillas.
Badge says security. In my heart, it says Fiesta. Do I look like a Carlos O'Kelly's to you, boy? Gonna Mame Lupe you right back.
But we didn't power rank top 3. So number one is and by the way, again, that is universal. Like you will not find even people that don't like peanut butter.
What about Reese's Pieces?
No.
No.
I'm a huge fan of those too, but whatever.
How did they? I mean, I don't dislike them, but I don't understand how they went so wrong in the pieces.
What do you
How'd
mean?
they
They're
go-
just like Reese's Peanut Butter Cup M&Ms.
No, but they're not. Have you ever had peanut butter M&Ms?
Yeah, those are a little different. All right.
And those
I
are
gotcha.
are those better?
Yeah, probably. All right, I know.
So that's what they should have done. Why didn't the Reese's people be like, you know what? We should make our M&Ms peanut butter M&Ms because they would have beaten M&M to the punch. But M&M's like, oh, you left this for us? Poop. We'll take it. Peanut butter M&Ms, number 2 on my list.
Peanut butter M&Ms. Okay. Number 3.
By the way, peanut butter and chocolate, a marriage unlike anything else.
Yes.
Number 3, you're going to make fun of me for this, but that's okay. No problems with it.
Almond Joy.
No.
Peppermint patties.
Are you
No, I'm just trying to think of something I'd make fun of you for.
Almond Joy? Are you?
Am I reading your mind?
This is kind of creeping me out right now, Deputy Dip.
Deputy Dip's a
Deputy
mind
Dip
reader.
knows everything.
Yeah, I get made fun of a lot for liking Almond Joy, but you know what? I'll tell you what. I get all the Almond Joys.
They're delicious. A very underrated candy.
Well, you and I both are.
Coconut,
on the wrong
chocolate.
side. Yeah, see, most people don't agree on the coconut point of view.
Well, I love coconut.
Yeah, I don't, but I like it when the chocolate mix. Coconut and chocolate go together. The other one I really like that a lot of people don't like is candy corn. Candy corn. So one year at Big 12 Basketball Media Days that I hosted with King, we asked all of the players, kind of like as a, as like
last week when we did
icebreaker.
Media Days?
No, this was years ago.
Oh, okay.
When King and I just toasted together, we were on a different platform. I didn't even know who you were.
Having way more fun.
Having way more fun.
Okay.
Way cooler. So many cool people there.
Shout out to King McClure.
But no, so we had like an icebreaker with all the players, and we had a bag of candy corn on the table, and we asked everybody what their feeling was on candy corn. And almost universally, everybody was like, oh, it's disgusting. It's the worst. I love candy corn. But it was super, like King still makes fun of me to this day for liking candy corn. But or do you like candy corn? You're a weirdo. You probably like candy corn.
Yeah, I do kind of like candy corn.
Big candy corn guy.
I feel like I do feel like people either love it or hate it.
It is.
There's no middle ground on the candy corn.
Yeah, it's a very polarizing candy.
So you like the coconut, the almond joy.
That would be my third under my top 3 Halloween candy power rankings.
Okay.
With Butterfinger probably at 4.
Do you eat a lot of coconut? It's very good for you.
No.
Sorry, my phone's going nuts. I forgot to turn it on Do Not Disturb.
Who's texting you?
Get outta
Calling
here.
you at 7 o'clock in the morning. Wow, this is quite the. We're off to a great start here on a Friday.
It's driving me nuts.
Fun to watch.
All right.
No, I do not eat a lot of coconut. How do you even eat a coconut?
What do you mean? Well, not like straight off the tree. Coconut, coconut
Water.
oil, coconut
Water.
flour,
Sure, yeah.
coconut flavor. There's all kinds of coconut. I bring this up because Alex Smith, when he was in the NFL, when he was in.
By the way, he's the guest picker for Utah this week.
Is
Good
he?
call. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Former Utah Ute, Alex Smith, the guest picker on College Game Day this week.
That's awesome. So when he was with the Chiefs, remember he had that like MVP caliber season?
No, I don't.
Okay, he did. He got off to like a 9-0 start. It was the year that they had just drafted Patrick Mahomes.
No, I do remember this actually.
Okay, so Patrick Mahomes is on the bench that first year, and everybody knows that Alex Smith is going to be somewhere else the next season. Well, he goes out and he balls out, like had the best year of his career by far. And he got super like jacked that year. Like he was always kind of thin and wiry, but
Is that the
like,
year he got hurt? He said that really devastating.
yeah,
that was with
like
that was with Washington. That was the
Oh,
next
good
year.
point. Good point.
Okay,
Yep.
so when this was his last year in Kansas City.
Yeah.
But apparently he did like the whole intermittent fasting thing. But what he would have every morning was like 2 tablespoons of coconut oil in his coffee. It's called like bulletproof coffee, and it speeds up your metabolism and kicks your body into ketosis or whatever the keto thing is. And it's just it's coconut oil, which is kind of chunky, and it dissolves in your coffee, and then butter and coffee. And he would drink that for like 8 hours before he would have a meal. I tried it once. I went through it. I thought I'm going to get super jacked and lean and look like Alex Smith or Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
Yep.
It went very poorly. It's basically it's a laxative is what I call it. Like a not legal black market laxative. Like he called it bulletproof. I was going to work and it was not good. Bulletproof my pants. It was bad.
To think that this started all because of almond joys with coconuts, and then it turned into
You crapping your pants at work?
But I don't know how Alex Smith did it. I don't know how he got through practice with that. Speaking of Utah, have you seen their new hand-painted helmets they're going to roll out this
This
weekend?
is something I believe Utah does annually. For one of the games, they get the hand-painted helmets. These are pretty sick, though. These are pretty amazing. If you were watching us on Big 12 Studios now, you could see these amazing helmets that have the drum. They have like a drum with the U in it and then the feathers on them. And the visor in the front saying Utah. Like, I don't know if they're going to win tomorrow night, but they're going to look really good. The one thing I want to know is, what is the jersey combination they're wearing with this? Have they said that? Have they showed that?
That's a good question. I'll
with
find
that
out.
sick of a helmet. You can't mess up the jersey.
Well, do they You said they wear hand-painted helmets every year?
Yeah, they do a version of this every year.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. I thought the whole hand-painted helmets thing in college football was new, like this season. Saw Boise State do it. The internet exploded like a month ago, and then a couple other teams started doing it. Utah's like, we've been doing it since 2016.
Utah's like, hold my beer.
Yeah, Utah's been doing it since 2016. It's the 9th year that Utah has worn a special hand-painted helmet.
I think these might be the coolest of all of the ones they've worn.
Yeah, these are sweet.
Yeah,
These are sweet.
big fan.
All right, we got some games to preview for this weekend. Oklahoma State and Kansas, West Virginia, Houston, Arizona State, Iowa State, Texas Tech, K-State, Cincinnati, and Utah. We'll dive into that coming up next before we pick the games. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. Heard exclusively on TuneIn. You're watching us on the Big 12 Fast Channel. Big 12 Studios. He's Ari. I'm James. This is the Big 12. This is a different league. Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio. Heard exclusively on TuneIn. You're watching us via your Roku device, Amazon Prime, DirecTV, YouTube, wherever you watch your Big 12 coverage via Big 12 Studios and Big12Studios.com. He's Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. Super cool. Last night, Big 12 Studios actually aired the first ever Big 12 football game, the first ever Big 12 event, 1996, August 30th, Kansas State and Texas Tech. This weekend is the 30th anniversary of that matchup between Kansas State and Texas Tech. That was right after Inside the 12 with Pete Sousa and Taylor McHargue. They broke down the historic rematch, and this weekend is a big one between those two teams. The other big one in this conference.
By the way, we're going to have the quarterback of the Kansas State Wildcats, Brett Kavanaugh, on the show today as well.
Brian Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh is the Supreme Court Justice.
I'm like, this is news to us. Supreme Court Justice here on Big 12 today.
We're going to be having the Supreme Court Justice.
So Brian Kavanaugh was the quarterback in that game for K-State, and he still lives pretty close to Manhattan, like less than an hour away in Salina, Kansas, and he plays YMCA pickup basketball every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And you can tell that he still has some quarterback in him. When he bombs, pulls a rebound, and bombs that outlet pass and puts it on the money, he's a really interesting guy and has an interesting path to Kansas State, and then ultimately kind of fell in love with the area. Had, I think, 2 or 3 kids that played high school football and were quarterbacks at one of the local high schools in the area. So that'll be a good chat coming up next hour. We'll also have Lige Douzable. We'll go in the trenches here in about 30 minutes. He's on the call for the KU Oklahoma State game on Saturday, and we'll be picking all these games in about 15. But College Game Day, Cincinnati, Utah from Salt Lake City. This is a massive game. It starts at 10:15 Eastern Time on ESPN tomorrow, 9:15 Central. Cincinnati is 17th in the AP. Utah is 24th, so you get a top 25 matchup. The line has exploded in favor of Utah. They're favored by 10.5 in this game. What do you think's the big storyline in this matchup?
Well, it's the first meeting ever in football between Cincinnati and Utah. Cincinnati is on a 7-game winning streak, and Utah, historically, when they host College Game Day, is 2-4. Now, that doesn't mean anything for this game, obviously, but what I think is really interesting about the line movement is, so, like, when Utah joined the Big 12, everybody thought, oh, the Utah is going to come into the Big 12 and run through it, and they're going to be the best team in the conference. And they didn't, obviously. They had a really bad year last year, finished towards the bottom of the conference. And then in this offseason, and then heading into this season, there was so much optimism around Utah, again, nationally. And so it feels like that's why bettors aren't buying Cincinnati's any good, and they're still looking at Utah and thinking, I mean, this is the supreme team here in the Big 12. So it's really interesting how it feels like the savvy gamblers will be on Cincinnati. Not necessarily to win the game, but 10.5 points is far too many points for a team on a 7-game winning streak that if you're Cincinnati, I mean, I know this game's played in the month of November, but they have just burst through the scene in the month of October, specifically Brendan Sorsby. He's been so good in the month of October. You can call it Sorstober, if you will.
Ooh, I like that.
Thank you. Came up with that one on the fly.
Sorstober. That's really, I
With
like
Brock Purdy, we used to have Brocktober.
Uh-huh.
We've got Sorstober.
Now we got Sorstober. I'm here for it.
But this is an elimination game for Utah. If Utah wants to win a Big 12 championship, you know, we think maybe 2 losses may get you in, maybe, but 3 will not.
And I think
it's an elimination game of sorts for Utah.
Totally agree. And if Utah wins this game, it's Cincinnati's first Big 12 loss, and it really, I think, throws the Big 12 championship picture into chaos.
Yes.
And opens the door for a lot of other teams, like a Houston, like even a Kansas State. I mean, Kansas State, they're thinking crazy in Manhattan. If K-State somehow upsets Texas Tech, they're in a position to play in the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah.
Even with all those non-conference losses.
It's definitely an elimination game for both Utah and K-State in that regard, for sure. But both are very much in the thick of it if they get wins, because not only are they, keeping pace, but they've knocked off teams at the top of the conference.
I think what we'll learn about Cincinnati is, do they have the meat? Do they have the horses to win a game like this? We know that they're explosive. They've had a major upgrade at wide receiver. Now, Evan Pryor's out. He's not going to play. He's their home run hitting tailback and the guy that averages like 8 yards a carry. But they still have Tawi Walker. They still have Sorsby. So can they win the line of scrimmage? Can they keep Utah's offense off the field, who wants to control the clock? Utah's still top 5 in the country in rushing yards. They're 12th in the country in fewest sacks allowed. They've been named the Big 12 Offensive Line of the Week 3 times, more than anybody else in the league. And Cincinnati, 9th in the Big 12 in rushing defense. That 3-3-5 scheme, Dante Corleone's going to have to be massive for Cincinnati to control the line of scrimmage. You know, Utah's 3rd in the country on third down. They're 3rd in the Big 12, top 3 in the Big 12 in time of possession. And Cincinnati's been really explosive. Cincinnati, out of 136 FBS football teams, they rank 133rd in time of possession. Their offense has not been on the field a lot. They're either going 3 and out or they're hitting you with an explosive play and a touchdown. They're also 44th in the country on third down offense. So I think time of possession, sustaining drives, is going to be massive because with Utah and how good they are defensively, I'm not sure Cincinnati can win this game just relying on those explosives.
Yeah, and Utah, what to me, the interesting statistical battle here is Utah is really good third down defense. They're only giving up 30% third down conversions. But Cincinnati's very good on third downs as an offense at 43.2 from a conversion rate standpoint. So I think that, like the game within the game there, who's able to win on third down. And then, I mean, to your point about explosive plays versus short drives, in Utah's losses, as good as Utah's defense has been, in their losses this year, they've been susceptible to the big play down the field. Mm-hmm. And so that is a strength of Cincinnati. Now, no Evan Pryor for Cincinnati. He's going to miss this game. But Tawi Walker has been very good, and he is a physical back. And so I do think a big part of this, as you mentioned, is Cincinnati looks really good, but are they ready for prime time? And meaning, like, are they big up front on both lines of scrimmage enough that, like, because that's Utah's game. Like, Utah can bully you up front like they did against Colorado, like they've done in some of their previous wins where they're just running wild because they have one of the best rush offenses in college football. So, like, the ultimate game within the game here for me is the battle up front on both lines of scrimmage. Cincinnati looks good. They played good. How good are they? Are they ready for prime time up front on both lines of scrimmage?
Totally agree. That's it. And, you know, I'm excited to see Brendan Sorsby on this stage because he hasn't really been on this stage since week 1 against Nebraska, and we know how that turned out. He hasn't thrown an interception since. He's thrown almost 200 passes, 179 to be exact, since his last interception. So with all those explosives and all that Cincinnati offensive firepower, the thing that Sorsby is going to face that he hasn't is an explosive pass rush from Utah. And Sorsby is 4th in the country in passing efficiency, even after the Nebraska game. And he had a lot of ground to make up after that performance. But his efficiency numbers drop significantly when he's under pressure. That's when he's not at his best. But he hasn't been under pressure, essentially, since week 1. Utah's 2nd in the Big 12 in sacks per game. They're top 10 in the country in sacks. So they're going to get pressure on Sorsby, and he's going to have to make quick, decisive, confident decisions. Take the layups, take the 4 or 5 yard checkdowns versus trying to extend a play and taking a sack or throwing a pick and making a bad decision.
How confident are you that Devin Dampier plays?
Not confident at all.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I just think this whole injury availability thing is weird to me, and I think Devin Dampier is more beat up than what we're being led to believe. And we went through this same thing with Cam Rising. I mean, the last 2 or 3 years with him.
Yeah.
Last year, we were going every single week having this conversation. Is Cam Rising going to play this week? Turns out we find out after the fact he wasn't even close to playing. They knew he was done for the year. So something just tells me in my gut he's not going to play.
Here's what Kyle Whittingham said about how healthy Devin Dampier needs to be to play.
Well, I think the bottom line is, and always will be, which quarterback, which player for any position for that matter gives you the best chance of winning. And if a 90% Devin Dampier we feel gives us a better chance than 100% Bird, I'm not saying, that's just an example, then we go with the guy that we think is gives us that best shot. And so I can tell you we got a lot of confidence in Bird, especially after what we saw on Saturday night. But Devin is still QB1. Make no mistake, there's no QB controversy or of any sort. And we'll just have to measure Devin's progress day by day and see where he ends up. And, it's going to be, pretty much he's got a lot of input. And, he's an experienced vet. And Saturday night he just says, hey, I'm just not feeling it. I'm ready if you have to have me. He was ready for an emergency situation if it came to that. But we'll lean on Devin a lot to figure, how he's feeling, and he's going to do what's best for the team. Devin's a team guy, and so we'll just see how things progress.
Yeah, Kyle Whittingham is really good at saying a whole bunch of nothing. And
exactly.
I mean, so here's what's interesting. I think Devin Dampier is going to play.
Okay.
I think it's probably a coin flip in terms of like the knowledge that's out there based on Kyle Whittingham's history of hiding injuries and misleading, and the fact that he didn't play last week, wasn't healthy enough to play last week. So is he going to be healthy enough to play this week? Maybe they just figured they'd have a good game plan and be fine against Colorado without. I'm not sure, but I think he's going to play. But I'm also at the same time like maybe it's a coin flip. And yet, despite that, this line started at 8.5. I think 7.5. Bettors have bet this line 10.5. I mean, think about that. With let's just say a coin flip of whether or not the quarterback is going to be Devin Dampier over a true freshman in Bird Ficklin, who you're not going to be able to run all over Cincinnati like you did Colorado. And again, I think this is like just the public perception of like, oh, Cincinnati's not any good. That's come on, no way. And they're going to Utah. Oh, that's easy money, right? Like, it's just bizarre to me, the public perception of these two programs and how skewed it is. Like, it's one of those, like, if you know, you know. You know Cincinnati's a lot better than the public perception of them. And Utah may not be as good as the public perception of them.
Right. I feel the same way. And Bird Ficklin, I will say, he's an upgrade over any quarterback that stepped on the field for Utah last year.
And the year before.
And the year before. He's a freshman who is a 3-star recruit. He's just an Okie from Muskogee. He's from Muskogee, Oklahoma. 3-star kid. He's averaging 8 yards per carry. Ran all over Colorado.
Boy named Bird.
Boy named Bird. He was a basketball star in high school. We've
got a bird and a bear. True freshman quarterbacks in the state of Utah. How about that?
Who would have ever thought?
Like, how did this kid get out of the state of Oklahoma? That's what I want to know. I mean, he threw.
How do we have a bird and a bear true freshman quarterback starting in the state of Utah? That's what
in the state of Utah, that too. Yeah.
There are two
freshmen, Bear and Bird,
and 2 major universities in the state of Utah that play at this level, and they're Bear and Bird.
Somebody hit the sim button on the season. This kid threw for over 3,000 yards in high school in his senior year. Had 1,000 rushing yards. Averaged 7 yards per carry. Okay, so he's playing in 6A in the state of Oklahoma. Like, Muskogee's not Tulsa, it's not Oklahoma City, I get it. But it's still a massive high school because there's only one high school. So they're playing against those type of teams. And he balled out. Won a state title in 23. Got close in 24. 3-star recruit, all-state kid. He's at Utah. That's a great find. Great find. And could be the quarterback of the future if I'm Utah, because he looked that good in his debut. All right, coming up next here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios, we are picking these games. We've got 5 to burn through. We'll take a peek at the overall standings, and then Lige Douzable from In the Trenches and Brian Cavanaugh, who was the Kansas State quarterback in the first ever Big 12 football game back in 1996, will join us here in about an hour from now on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios. What? Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio. This is the Big 12 Conference. This is a different league on a Halloween Friday. He's Ari Timken on social at Ari Sports. That's ARI Sports. I'm James Westling on social at James Westling. You're watching us on Big 12 Studios. We encourage you to join the conversation there. If you're watching on YouTube, we will circle back to some of your thoughts at some point throughout the show. Tomorrow, right here on Big 12 Radio, we have a triple header. Game of the week Saturday with UCF at Baylor starting at noon Eastern, 11 Central, followed by Texas Tech at Kansas State at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central, and Arizona at Colorado at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central, right here on Big 12 Radio. We are brought to you, the Full-Time Fan, by our good friends at Modelo. Ari is going to be pounding Modelo's tonight as he's trick-or-treating throughout the neighborhood on this Halloween Friday. It is time for us to pick some games. The Big 12 today heater is still going strong. When you look at our picks, what do the standings look like?
Yeah, we're doing very well, but specifically you, James, you went 6-0 last week. We picked 6 games last week. We're back to 5 this week. We usually pick just 5 games, but you're at 30-16. I went a measly 5-1 last week.
Measly 5-1.
And in 28-18 overall. So last year I was dreadful. Like Stormy is 18-29, and that was me last year. And we're unfortunately not going to have Stormy Warren's picks this week, but yeah, I mean we're offering fans of Big 12 quite the return here on our picks. You at 30-16 and me at 28-18. It's a pretty good number if I might say so myself.
Humble brag, I'm 11-1 the last 2 weeks.
I was gonna say you've
humble brag.
You've picked up a lot because I was up basically the entire season, and now you've pulled ahead of me based on your last 2 weeks, and really last 3 or 4 weeks you've been red hot in the month of October. It's really West-tober, if you will.
Yeah, there we go. We've got Soars-tober, we've got West-tober.
Yeah.
Sorry, trying to see what we'd be looking at if we were betting real talk on these games. So I'm hitting at 65%. If I was betting $100 a game, I'd be looking at a 24.5% return.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's real good.
That's elite.
Yeah.
Elite. All right, we're picking the games. Taman, take us through it. We've got 5 Big 12 games that we're looking at today.
And since you are the leader,
what does that mean?
You pick first.
Okay.
All right, guys. Starting off, Iowa State versus Arizona State.
And the line is
6.5.
Iowa State is favored because Sam Leavitt is out. Man, that feels like a lot of points, but I lean Arizona State. Even with Sam Leavitt out, even with Jeff Sims, I think he has started enough games now. He's been on the field enough that he can keep it close. I know this is in Ames in Iowa State. They've been on this slide. They're going to have a get-right game where they just explode and they blow somebody out. That seems to be just about every year something that happens with Iowa State, even in these somewhat disappointing type seasons. But I just look at the points. These two teams, what they've dealt with the last couple of weeks, they're in very uncharted waters in terms of the amount of losses that they have between the two. So I think it's going to be close. Give me Arizona State to cover as a dog.
It's actually kind of remarkable that Arizona State is less than a touchdown underdog here because they've got Jeff Sims starting at quarterback and most likely no Jordan Tyson. And they're playing on the road. It's going to be an early game for them, 10 a.m. Tempe time, 12 p.m. Central time, and it's going to be cold in Ames, Iowa. Everything to me goes the way of Iowa State. I'll take Iowa State to cover this spread. Again, I think it's remarkable that it's less than a touchdown here, considering, again, Jeff Sims is starting, and you're most likely without Jordan Tyson. For an early game, early kick, it will be freezing temperatures in Ames, Iowa. And then the other part to this that I think is hugely important is Iowa State's back to being really good on special teams. Conradi's back. And Arizona State's been dreadful on special teams. They're in the hundreds on special teams. So, like, all of that, to me, factors in for why I'm picking Iowa State to cover this spread.
And I now hate my pick.
Wow.
Do you see the game time temperature there? Is that what you're Googling?
No, what is it?
It's supposed to be in the 30s.
That's not great.
Yeah.
That's cold.
That's not great.
Yeah, for a
Dilly-dilly.
team,
I
team
trust
that
Dilly.
plays in the desert,
I trust Dillingham.
10 o'clock in the morning their time.
He's going to have them ready. They'll be fine.
Well, and again, I mean, to his credit, they're a 6.5-point underdog on the road with Jeff Sims at quarterback. I mean, it says a lot.
Like, you think the line should be bigger?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All right, next one, guys. Texas Tech at Kansas State with the line at 7.5.
I know where you're going. I'm going to be shocked. I'm going to be shocked if you go the other way here. Where are you going, James?
Texas Tech is favored by 7.5. Kansas State covers this in Manhattan, and I think maybe wins the game outright. The way they're playing the last 4 weeks, I don't trust that Baron Morton is 100%. I know he maybe could have played last week, but I think he's one hit away from being out of this football game. And I think Kansas State, this time of year at home, there's just something special about Bill Snyder Family Stadium. It's Harley Day. For whatever reason, K-State always plays lights out. They're averaging over 6 yards per carry as a team. Avery Johnson has been so much better his last 3 games. His efficiency numbers are up. He's doing more with his legs. I think Kansas State has moved on from having Dylan Edwards being healthy in any of these games. Like, it's gravy now if he does play. Joe Jackson is the guy at running back. The offensive line is getting better, and the defense has just been violent for Kansas State. The turnover battle is an area I think K-State can win. At home, historically, the Cats are usually much better when it comes to turnover play this time of year, so I'm taking K-State.
I have gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm going Texas Tech to cover here on the road and win in Manhattan for the first time since 2008. Here's the number, James. 63.4 yards per game. That is what Texas Tech's rush defense is giving up.
I know.
And in a game that we're going to see Joe Jackson, no Dylan Edwards, I feel like this is where K-State crashes back to reality because Texas Tech is a team that is able to take care of the football. Like, the thing that's buoyed K-State in their four wins and really all Big 12 season, as we've discussed, is turnovers. And while Texas Tech is really bad in terms of penalty yardage, I think they're like 102nd in the nation in penalties.
Yeah.
Turnovers is not an issue for them. They have not had an issue turning the football over. And Jacob Rodriguez is playing like the best defensive player in college football right now. So it feels like there's lots of momentum for Kansas State. They played really well. They're coming off a huge win over the rival. As you mentioned, it's Harley Day, but give me Texas Tech to flex its muscles and win here on the road in Manhattan. Give me Texas Tech to cover.
We know who's more talented. It's going to come down to special teams. The penalties is another thing that makes me think K-State can keep it close. And the turnovers, you're right. I mean, that's where Kansas State win a game where they're not +3 in the turnover margin. The last 3 weeks of the college football season, K-State is second in the country in turnover margin. And they're top 5 in the country now for the entire season. So that's going to be huge.
All right, next one. Arizona at Colorado. Line's 4.5.
So Arizona's favored in this game. The line is moved to 3.5, but we take it earlier in the week. So Arizona by 4.5 is where we have it. These two teams are a combined 2-7 in Big 12 play. It's at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. You can watch it on FS1. Something tells me Colorado gets a win here outright at home. They've already sold over 45,000 tickets for this game. They're expecting a sellout for tomorrow night at Folsom Field in Boulder. And Colorado, I think that a lot of people are going to be jumping on Arizona because of recency bias and what happened with Colorado last time out. I still think they have something left in the tank. They allowed 422 rushing yards against Utah. They can't do that again. But Colorado at home is a different animal. So I just think Colorado keeps it close. Even if they lose this game, I think it's by less than 4.5.
Yeah, I'm with you here on this pick. I'm taking Arizona, or rather Colorado, plus the points at home. It feels like last week was a huge wake-up call for Deion and for this defense. And while Arizona may still win this game, it just feels like, as you mentioned, in a sellout crowd at home after getting blown out last week, Colorado has a better showing and keeps this game close. Give me Colorado plus the points.
All right, Utah 9.5-point favorite against Cincinnati. Who you got?
Which again, this line has moved to 10.5. We're taking it at 9.5. So if it's a 10-point Utah win, we'll have some things to say on Monday. But with that said, I like Cincinnati. We don't know the status of Devin Dampier, and I can't go all in on him being 100%, even if he does play. And for Cincinnati, I think they're still able to play the chip on our shoulder. Nobody thinks we're any good. Everybody says we're overrated. We don't belong. They have a ton of motivation for this game. And I just think that's a really sound football team, both sides of the ball. With Jake Golday at linebacker, one of the top tacklers in the Big 12. They're averaging almost 6 yards per carry as a team. I think Sorsby, this is his moment. He's already had a moment like this against Nebraska. And he's been chomping at the bit to have another moment like this in a hostile environment to prove to the nation that he is a legitimate, maybe Heisman caliber quarterback this season. Give me Cincy.
Yeah, this is easy money to me. Cincinnati plus the points. Not necessarily that Cincinnati will win this outright, though I do think they will. But, that's far too many points. Again, I think public perception has skewed this line dramatically. Even at 8.5, where this line was set, it felt like a lot of points. Cincinnati is legit, and I think the biggest question is, are they legit up front? Like, they are. Gavin Gerhardt is an NFL center. I think their defensive line has some NFL players on it. So, to me, I don't know that people realize how good Cincinnati is, and they're overrating Utah. Give me Cincinnati plus the points here.
Great note about their offensive line. The Cincinnati offensive line is super underrated. That is a veteran, solid group, top 5 in the country.
All right, guys. Last one. Baylor versus UCF. The line is 4.5.
Baylor at home against UCF. Baylor is favored by 3.5. It's at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on ESPNU. UCF enters 4-3 overall, 1-3 in Big 12 play. Baylor is 4-4, 2-3 in Big 12 play. UCF is last time out coming off a 45-13 win over West Virginia. They had almost 600 yards of total offense. They held West Virginia to 210. The UCF passing defense is 6th in the country in yards allowed per game. I haven't seen any improvement from Baylor's defense. We're going into Week 9, Game 9 for Baylor. And I thought the growth that we would see after the Auburn game to now would be significant, and it hasn't been. So I like UCF. I don't trust that Baylor's defense can keep UCF and a healthy Taven Jackson and Jaden Nixon off the field. I think UCF keeps it close and maybe wins this one outright.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Give me UCF plus the 4.5 points. Same reasoning. At this point, you can't trust Baylor's defense. With Taven Jackson and this running attack for UCF, they've got a lot of explosives that I think will take advantage of Baylor's porous defense. And while I think Baylor and Sawyer Robertson have a bounce back, like UCF has a decent defense that I think will get enough stops. I don't know that UCF wins this outright, but it feels like it could be a close game. Give me UCF plus the 4.5 points.
Baylor's giving up almost 33 points per game and over 400 yards per game. And early in the year, it was explosive plays. Against SMU, that's what we kept hearing. It was explosive plays. There were 4 plays from that game that were like 250 of SMU's 4 whatever that they had. But now it's not just been explosive plays. Teams are gashing them on the ground, and the defense has just been a... And then also the off-the-field stuff. Like, your offensive line coach gets fired midweek. Like, that doesn't happen in a healthy locker room, in a healthy situation. So concerns about where they're headed the rest of the way.
And if Baylor loses this game outright, I think there's a chance that Dave Aranda could be fired on Sunday.
On Sunday, day after the game.
Uh-huh.
If
Baylor loses this game, I think there's a chance. A home game you lose to a UCF team that was picked at the bottom of the barrel. I think there's a chance that Dave Aranda is fired and that we're coming in here on Monday and reacting to that.
No, I think you're right. And my first thought was, do coaches get fired mid-season?
Yes.
Yes,
in
right. In
today's world, they do.
In today's world. Like, before the year, no, that's not going to happen. Mike Gundy, they'll at least give him till the end of the year. Coaches don't get fired mid-season in college football. Like, that just doesn't happen. And now it's a trend. It's a trendy, new age thing to do, and everybody's following suit.
Yeah, it's one of the things we talked about earlier this week when you were not here is like the amount of coaches that have been fired mid-season basically really ramped up in 2021. When I think the number was 12 in-season firings, which was more than like the previous 5 seasons combined.
In 21.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's a thing now, and it's the college football playoff, right? As soon as you think your team is out of it, you're willing to let go of your coach. Whereas in the previous world, winning 10 games, beating your rival, getting to a bowl game, those were metrics that were important to get to, but only 2 teams got to play for a national championship. So I think there were other factors to have your coach stay on to play for. That's out the window now that you have a playoff, and that's the goal now more than anything.
Yeah, really good point. Coming up next, Lige Douzable, former UCF defensive lineman, over a decade in the NFL, on the call for the KU Oklahoma State game. We'll go in the trenches around the corner on Big 12 Radio. Big 12 today here on Big 12 Radio. This is the Big 12 Conference. This is a different league brought to you by our friends at Modelo. Time now to go in the trenches with Lige Douzable, former UCF defensive lineman, over a decade in the NFL. He's on the call for the KU Oklahoma State game on Saturday. And Lige, I was going to ask how KU's feeling after the K-State game, but then I remembered that as soon as you're done with us, you're popping over to meet with the KU coaches and Lance Leipold. So let's pivot to some of the biggest games in the Big 12 this weekend when you look at Cincinnati and Utah, Texas Tech and Kansas State. Starting with the afternoon game in Manhattan, between Texas Tech and Kansas State, who wins the line of scrimmage with Texas Tech not having Skylar Gill-Howard, and it's hard to evaluate their first game without him because it was against Oklahoma State. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, and that's where that game is going to be won and lost. I thought last week your Wildcats did an amazing job, right, mitigating the run from the Jayhawks. You know, it's a potent rushing attack. You got Hashaw at running back who's kind of working his way back from injury. Obviously, Jalen Daniels is a pivotal part of the run game. Those guys up front, people tend to forget Toby Osinsami has been gone for a while, right? So they actually haven't had a guy that they know can just go get a sack. But I was more impressed about what they did in the run. Like Cody Stufflebean and Chidi Obiazor did a really good job last week versus KU, mitigating some of those rushing lanes. And then Desmond Purnell played out of his mind. And he's played out of his mind the last couple of weeks. Austin Romaine out there with that club on his hand. You would never know how physical he's being. But I thought that they were more physical than the Jayhawk team. And I think if they want to pull the upset off, they're going to have to do that against Texas Tech this week as well. Those guys up front, more specifically the front seven, are going to have a day. And Joe Klanderman is going to have a really good scheme to mitigate what they want to do, not only in the pass game, but more specifically in the run game. When you make Texas Tech one-dimensional, we saw versus Arizona State, it could spell trouble for the Rebels.
Yeah, and you know what's so interesting too about K-State is the turnover numbers. And Lige, can you just speak to that in terms of like the importance that pass rush has in creating and generating turnovers?
Yeah, without a doubt. We always talk about, as defensive linemen, getting the quarterback off his spot, right? You want to make the quarterback uneasy in the pocket. And sometimes, Ari, it's not even about just getting the sacks. It's just about speeding up his clock and making him make bad decisions. So, again, without Toby Osinsami, a lot of these other guys have stepped up. I talked about Obiasor and his flexibility to rush inside and outside as well. Obviously, Cody Stufflebean, who is long in the tooth, been in the program forever, right? A veteran guy that's played a lot of football. He stepped up as well. And then I think Klanderman's done a really good job mixing up the pressure versus dropping back in coverage and blitzing guys like Romaine and Purnell. They did a really good job last week versus Kansas. Kansas could not, for some odd reason, could not adjust to that cross dog blitz where you cross the linebackers at the snap. And then they also use those linebackers in pass rush stunts with defensive linemen, and Kansas had no answer for that. So, James, you talked about the offensive line for Texas Tech. It's going to be imperative that they communicate up front because Klanderman is going to send guys in waves.
How about the Texas Tech defensive front? How do they get pressure and slow down Avery Johnson?
Well, the interesting thing is I think if you're Kansas State, you want to make them play run. Now, again, Lee Hunter and those guys play run really well, but David Bailey can't get a sack on a run play, right? You know what I'm saying? Romello Height can't get a sack on a run play. So if you know anything about Kansas State, they love their tight ends. They're going to come out in 12 personnel, one back, two tight ends, and they're going to try to establish a run. But then also that's when they kind of like to attack you vertically. That's when they try to get Jace Brown down the field on those heavy play action pass. You got Tibbs running those intermediate routes as well. So I think that's the game plan for Kansas State, right? They kind of want to play bully ball, and that's what they've done the last couple of weeks, James. Like, this is the team that a lot of people thought we would see earlier in the season. It seems like Kansas State is getting their stride at the right time. Now, I don't know if too much damage has been done for them to make a run at the Big 12 championship. But I remember, guys, we had this conversation a few weeks ago as far as like who could be a spoiler. And I think Kansas State can be that team because of what they do offensively and how physical their defense has played the last couple of weeks. I know a lot has been made about Dylan Edwards and his lack of playing. But me and James talked about this the other day. Joe Jackson has been a godsend for them. He's played really well as far as how physical he is in the run game. So to answer your question, to me, to try to slow down that Texas Tech front, make them play the run, and more specifically, make those edge guys, right? Romello Height and David Bailey play the run. We know Lee Hunter is going to be able to mix it up inside with offensive linemen. That's what he does. That's what he's at his best. But I would make those edge guys really play the run, right? Because if you pound them enough, when it comes pass down, they're a little bit more tired, don't have as much energy to get after the passer.
You know, one of the games this weekend that will be won in the trenches would be Utah and Cincinnati. And Utah just historically has been known as being bullies up front on both sides of the ball. I mean, from what you've seen from Cincinnati, do you think they can match it?
Oh, 100%. Me and James had the privilege of calling their game earlier this year versus Bowling Green. And I know the Godfather had been banged up for a good portion of the year, but he's been back the last couple of weeks. I think this game will be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be, like you said, one in the trenches because Utah wants to establish the run. But I love that Cincinnati front seven, man. Jack Golday on the edge, the Godfather in the middle. Those guys do a really good job of mitigating the run. Now, they've had some issues in regards to giving up a lot of pass yards, but we know that's not Devin Dampier and Utah's cup of tea, right? They want to out-physical you and play you in a run game, which I think kind of bodes well for Cincinnati and what they want to do. You got to think this is a dark horse team that nobody's given a chance to. I think they got a real chance to go into Utah and pull off the upset. And it's because of Brendan Sorsby. Now, last week had a game where he wasn't as efficient throwing the ball. They really didn't throw it that much down the field, but his legs came into fruition. I think he's going to have to do some of that today to pull off the upset. But let's not forget, before last week, he was one of the more efficient passers, not just in the Big 12, but in the nation. I feel like not enough respect has been given to this Bearcats team and what Brendan Sorsby has done and what that defense has done as well. So this is a big opportunity, right? National stage. If I'm not mistaken, I believe College Game Day is out there. They got the whole nation watching them. They can literally put everybody on notice that we're not just a dark horse. We're real contenders in the Big 12.
Talking with Lige Douzable as we go in the trenches each week here on Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios. Speaking of lack of respect, want to ask you about Houston. Does Houston have the horses up front? You know, I know that their offensive line was atrocious last year. It's a little bit better, but defensively with Carlos Allen, what do you see from Houston, and are they legit?
The interesting thing is, James, nobody's talking about the Cougars, but they literally could end up in Arlington. And sometimes it's about being blessed and having the schedule fall the way it's falling for you. Now, that's not to take anything away from Coach Fritz and what they've done. They've done an amazing job turning that thing around. Connor Wegman has been one of those key cogs in turning things around. But the thing about Houston, like the schedule kind of is favorable to them all year. Like when they played Arizona State, like both of their top players were out that game, right? And, you know, Sam Levitt gets hurt early in the game and Jordan Tyson doesn't even play in the game. But that's not to take away from what they've done because you can only play who's on your schedule, guys. But I love the way that they've played this year as far as a nice mixture between run and pass, right? They've been able to rotate a couple backs. You talked about the defense, right? I don't think that side of the ball gets enough credit as well. They've had some tough wins on the road, and that was my question mark for them because in the beginning of the year, when they were winning a lot of those close games, it was at home. And then the Oregon State game, which, a game they probably should have lost, it kind of showed you that this team can handle adversity and bounce back in the second half of games and come back. But they're not only a dark horse, they literally could get to Arlington. This is a team that could win 9 or 10 games, and I don't think anybody saw that coming in the beginning of the year.
What do you think is wrong with Colorado's defense? Because, I mean, they were so good last year. You know, they have talent, but, I mean, they were just absolutely gashed on the run. Like, what's the issue here with Colorado's defense?
I think it's a combination of the offense struggling at times. Like on defense, you eventually get worn down. And we saw that last week. Now, the defense didn't really show up last week either. It was bad on all fronts of that. It was bad on all fronts for the Colorado Buffs when it comes to their offense and defense. And I think this is also an issue when you have so much of your success based off of a couple players on your team, right? And when you're trying to bring in new guys to fill that void, it's kind of tough because of what Shedeur Sanders did, because of what Travis Hunter did. Like, those were special players on that team, and it's kind of hard to fill that void. People say it all the time, like, 2 players don't make a team, but when it came to the Buffalo, to the Colorado Buffs, two players didn't make that team, but it elevated that team. And I think right now they're trying to figure out what their identity is. They had a close loss to Houston earlier in the year, which I thought a game they could have won. They got blown out last week. It's just been tough, right? Because this was a team last year that, kind of faltered down the stretch and could have made their way to Arlington to the Big 12 championship game, and then ultimately ends up playing, I believe, BYU in a bowl game and gets blown out that way as well. And ever since then, it just has not bode well. They've mixed in their different quarterbacks. And we talked about this earlier this year. It's really hard for a team to galvanize around a guy when that quarterback position's kind of been in flux. They didn't have that issue for the last 2 years before this year. So I think, to me, it's been a combination of the defense not getting a lot of help from the offense, but then also, man, they just haven't played sound defense this year.
Which has been surprising with their defensive coordinator and how
good
great
they were last year.
And I was gonna say, and then when you look at the names of the coaching staff and then all the guys that they've brought in, you would think that the things would turn around.
Great
But again,
point.
I also think when you take away a guy like Travis and Shador, there's like acclimation period. And I think a lot of people, just because they brought in some name guys, they thought that they would pick up the mantle. But now I think you see how special Shador and Travis were last year.
Yeah,
point.
definitely. Really good point.
Plus Warren Sapp and Pecco on their defensive
Correct.
staff. I mean, yeah.
So you would think they would take a step, but sometimes names don't equate to having production on the field.
Yeah, great point.
Lige, I know you got a hard stop coming up here at 15 after, so we appreciate your time. Can't wait to watch you on the call for Oklahoma State and KU this weekend.
Thanks, Leger.
Appreciate it, man. James, I think your Wildcats are going to pull it off. I'm calling it now.
Okay. You and me both. I love it.
But not me.
Not him.
Give me Texas Tech to cover.
Not him. I like it, Lige. I'm here for it. Lige Douzable, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Lige Douzable, former UCF defensive lineman. We go in the trenches with Lige each and every week here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. Coming up next, we are going back in time 30 years. It's the anniversary of the first ever Big 12 Conference event, Texas Tech at Kansas State. Kansas State won that game 21-14. 1996, their quarterback in that game, Brian Kavanaugh, is going to join the program. Coming up next, he's Ari. I'm James. This is Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios. Back here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, heard exclusively on TuneIn. You're watching us on Big 12 Studios, big12studios.com, the Big 12 Fast channel. And this weekend, the Big 12 is celebrating the 30th anniversary of the inaugural Big 12 Conference and Texas Tech and Kansas State from 1996. The game was on Big 12 Studios last night, the original 1996 showdown, a game that K-State won 21-14. He's Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. We've been able to track down the quarterback for the Kansas State Wildcats in that game back in 96, Brian Cavanaugh. What's up, Brian?
Things are great. How are you?
Man, we're good. So when we say 30th anniversary, what comes to mind?
Man, I mean, first, 30 is a big number, man. How about that? Like, am I really that old? That was the first thing that kind of popped into my head. It's so strange. It seems like it was 5 years ago in some ways and 50 in others. But yeah, it's been a minute. It's hard to believe the Big 12 has been around that long, too.
Yeah, I mean, what do you remember about that game?
Oh, gosh. I mean, so many things. A lot of hoopla around the Big 12 starting, obviously. We in 95, so that would have been my junior year. I mean, the Big 8 was coming off of a great year. The last year of the Big 8 conference, Nebraska wins it. Colorado was in the top 2 or 3, I think. We were like number 6. KU was 10, I think. So the Big 8 was just flying high. And then, I remember being at the Big 12 Media Day that year in St. Louis, and you've got these Southwestern Conference teams coming in that obviously have a rich tradition with football too. And now instantly, like, that is the best football conference in the country. These days, obviously, we hear a lot about, the Big 12, SEC, Big 10, and, it's open for debate. Some, everyone has their own opinion, but back then in 96, there was no question, like, that was the premier football conference in the country, I think. And, and just having a chance to kick it off with that game that kind of got moved up, and we had the stage with Texas Tech that day. It was a ton of fun.
Yeah, that's what was so unique about that game in 96 is back then there wasn't like a week 0. You didn't have these high-profile marquee matchups that early in the season. So did you and your teammates realize in the moment like how big of a deal it was that this is a new conference now, this is our stage in that moment?
Yeah, we had it drilled into our head a little bit that summer. Coach Snyder didn't leave much to chance, so his attention to detail was always amazing. So, ever through the entire off season, that we kind of had a bullseye on that day. And, and it was made quite clear to us just the scope and the gravity of the situation. And we knew, coming in, it's, usually we had 3 or 4 ramp up games. We used to be teased a little bit for our non-con schedule, how weak it was. Well, giddy up. And we went from 0 to 100 that day in late August of 96 with a great opponent coming in.
Did you know that a 8-year-old James Westling was in the building for that game?
You're not making me feel any younger, brother. Yeah, it was funny. I got a text from a friend the other day. With actually it had like the Facebook link. Something. With you guys getting ready to air the game on the Big 12 YouTube channel. But he was like, "Yeah, the day you broke a 14-year-old's heart in Manhattan." Same deal. So I've been getting texts like that. It's kind of funny.
Sorry, 10, not 8. So that
you got it from. So you got it from both sides.
Okay.
I was Team K-State. I was all in. Probably had some purple hairspray in the hair and like signs. Cavanaugh, number 12, he's the man. Okay, the whole deal.
I love it. Attaboy.
So what's really interesting, Brian, is you mentioned the 95 season. So you came in for an injured Matt Miller in the bowl game, and you went bananas. 242 yards passing, you had 4 touchdowns. K-State in that game blows out Colorado State 54-21. That was a big moment in K-State football history. And a lot of K-State fans remember that bowl game as being one of the best ever. So take us through, you're off the bench, you come in there, and you just go wild.
Yeah, the way that season went, the nice thing was I had the opportunity to get into a ton of games throughout the season. Whether, Matt had taken some shots and missed, would get dinged here and there. So, and then at the end of games, I had a chance to get into, some of the time that I had in previous games, it wasn't just mop-up time, so it was like legit minutes. So, I had a bunch of confidence going into that game. But, yeah, then, Matt takes that hit. in the Colorado State game and doesn't get up, and then we see Stretcher come out, and I mean after being obviously really worried for him, it was like, okay, here we go again. I mean, it's just all the work and all the practice and all that stuff you put in, and just go lean on that. And we got off to a great start. I mean, we had the best defense in the country too that year, so I mean that's definitely gonna help you out coming into a situation like that. But I think I was in for maybe 4 snaps. We had scored like 2 touchdowns, and the thing just snowballed from there. So that night was a ton of fun.
What's your best Bill Snyder story?
Oh my gosh, just one. I mean, okay, so here's like an example of the attention to detail. Like, we're in practice one day, and I'm on the left hash throwing a deep comeback to the rack boundary. Okay, so I mean, it's like 20 yards downfield, plus the drop, plus the angle. I mean, this thing's in the air probably 35, 40 yards, and I just rip a ball. And, comes out, bang, hits this receiver right between the eights. And coach comes over to me, and he's like, now, Brian, we need the ball on this 8, not the middle. I'm like, Coach, we're talking about 6 inches from 40 yards. So, it was stuff like that. I mean, and obviously it makes you better, and there's a reason for all of the detail, but, he just left no stone unturned.
Oh, man, that's amazing. Big 12 Studios is showing highlights from that Kansas State-Texas Tech game back in 1996 as we talk with the quarterback in that game for Kansas State, Brian Cavanaugh, here on Big 12 Today, heard exclusively on Big 12 Radio on TuneIn. Brian, when you think back to your time at K-State, I mean, you were a 4-year guy. We'd love to hear your story and how you got connected to the K-State program, and then just your thoughts on how much has changed in college football and where you sit on NIL and the transfer portal and everything else that is different today.
Yeah, boy. I mean, me personally, it was kind of unique just because I grew up outside of Chicago. It really looked like I was going to end up closer to home in the Big Ten. Kind of had, long story short, kind of had a freak deal happen to me my senior year. Ended up in the hospital sick. Basically, I mean, I had a staph infection that turned into kind of went septic and was sick, like legit, almost didn't survive this episode. But a lot of the schools that were recruiting me at the time just kind of stopped. So K-State came in late, which is another story. But when I came on my recruiting trip, I didn't have a whole lot of D1 options at the time, but, I had never heard of K-State. The first letter I got from K-State, it had the Big 8 logo, and I could only come up with 7 other teams. And I'm like, well, shoot, I guess they're the 8th one then. But I went down on the visit, and Coach Snyder, met him for the first time, and he told me about the history and, you can go here or there and go be a part of history that's already been written, or you can come here and be a part of the biggest turnaround in college football history. And it just spoke to me. So that's what I decided to do. And so came down and, and just, everything I got a chance to do and see and throughout the turnaround and, first 4 bowl games in K-State history and all that was amazing. But boy, college football has changed a bit, hasn't it? And I think, NIL and the transfer portal and all that stuff is good. I mean, I feel like they let the genie out of the bottle way too soon. And once it was out, you couldn't get that sucker back in. NIL, I always kind of thought it was like, okay, if people are making money off of your name and likeness, you get a piece of that, right? Because they were selling our jerseys back in the day, but we didn't get anything for that. But now it's just flat, just kids getting paid and things like that. So, I'm all for, kids being able to take advantage of these opportunities, but a little more regulation and not quite the wild, wild west up front, probably in hindsight would have been a really good deal to kind of reel it in.
Yeah, well said. From Naperville, are you a Bears fan?
I am a Bears fan.
Let's go. Yeah, I grew up in the northern suburbs of Chicago, so.
Okay, there you go.
But Bears, I went to KU. I went to KU, Brian.
Hey, nobody's perfect, man. It's all good.
But you said you're a White Sox fan too?
I am.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, we agree on that one. At least you're not a Cub fan. Way to go.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've cursed my boys with that too. So they're still diehard
That's
Sox
amazing.
fans, living through the struggles.
Wouldn't have thought there'd be White Sox fans in Salina, Kansas, but here we are. That's
Here we are.
amazing.
Better believe it.
And way to get them on the Bears instead of the Chiefs with how good the Chiefs have been.
I know, exactly. Yeah, they've stayed true.
Love it.
They've stayed true.
Love
That's
it.
amazing. Brian, so K-State in the 96 season, you guys played BYU in the Cotton Bowl. How weird is it now, 30 years later, for K-State and BYU to be in the same conference? Because I remember back in 96, like K-State's playing who in the bowl game, and here we are, we fast forward, and we're all on the same team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and a few of the teams that I mean, Cincinnati's another one that I played. I mean,
yeah.
who would have thought that
Yeah.
we'd be in a world where, now all of a sudden Cincinnati's in the same conference with K-State too. Yeah, BYU's still a little strange to me. I mean, I still remember being a kid growing up watching the late night WAC games with Detmer and Ty Detmer and McMahon and all that stuff. So yeah, so to have BYU and Utah and all that in the Big 12 now is a little unique. But we've got some cool destinations to go to on road games, though.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Did you guys have any sense of like the histrionics involved? And I mean, and obviously not in the moment, but like I guess like when that game kicks off, is there any sense of like, wow, this is a big deal? Beyond like it's a college football
that game
game.
back with Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, big deal, yes, but the entire, I mean, I guess how big a deal? No, not really. It's kind of funny because, it was down the road. All of a sudden, one day I'm like listening to sports radio in Kansas City or something, and it was like a trivia question. They're like, who scored the first touchdown in Big 12 history? And I was like, oh, well, heck, I know that dude. It was me. Stuff like that. I'm like, wow, never really put that together, at the time. So, things like that, it's fun. I mean, it gives me something good for two truths and a lie, icebreakers and things like that these days.
That's awesome. Was that first touchdown the quarterback sneak, or was it a pass?
Okay, so actually, well, the first rushing touchdown was the sneak, but then I have the first passing touchdown actually with there was a little tunnel screen that we hit. Jimmy Dean scored the first receiving touchdown in Big 12 history.
Wow.
Jimmy Dean, the sausage man.
Jimmy Dean. Yep, there you go.
All right, Brian, you told us a great story about practice and how Bill Snyder was so detail-oriented. Give us one play from your career from that year, not necessarily that Tech game. You can go there if you want. But what's like one highlight reel moment that you carry with you to this day that you'll never forget?
Oh, gosh. Just one play. Well, here, I'll give you one. Like the one time, I mean, and here's kind of a coach story for you too. This was from the Cotton Bowl my senior year. We had, I don't know, a third and something, and I end up audible into a slant to Kevin Lockett. And just saw something in the defense. I'm like, oh, yeah, we need to go to this. So change the play, boom, hit Kevin. Kevin breaks a tackle and goes 70-something for a touchdown. And we go up a couple scores at that point and really had the game under control. But that was one of the probably like I could probably count the times on one hand where like coach literally just looked at me and goes, good job. And there wasn't a coaching point. And I was like, wow, that must have been good because there wasn't an even better if.
And I know a lot of not only players that played for Snyder, but those that played against him have great stories about like handwritten letters that he wrote to them. Do you have any of those?
Yeah, I do. And I think even the last one I got was kind of sadly when years after I was done playing, when my dad passed away. So that's just coach. He genuinely cares about people, and once you're one of his guys, you're always one of his guys. So
he's a legend.
He's a father figure to a lot of us. So
legendary human being for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt
for sure,
about it.
absolutely.
Brian Cavanaugh, the Kansas State quarterback, for that 1996 matchup with Texas Tech, the first ever Big 12 Conference football game. Brian, we are so glad that we were able to track you down for this, man. This was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Take care, Brian.
See you,
Take
Brian.
care.
Brian Cavanaugh was the Kansas State quarterback. August 31st, 1996, Kansas State beats Texas Tech 21-14. That was an August football game, week 1, the first ever Big 12 event, and this is the 30th anniversary. Kansas State and Texas Tech in Manhattan tomorrow afternoon. What a guy. Some phenomenal stories, some great clips. Brian Cavanaugh.
And Brian Cavanaugh, the first 2 touchdowns
Right.
in the history of the Big 12. 1 rushing touchdown, 1 passing touchdown.
That's a trivia question that will never be old.
Well, and you think about this, too. 2 coaches, Bill Snyder, Spike Dykes, 2 legends, and their influence is still being felt in the Big 12. 30 years later,
Yeah.
Spike's son, Sonny, is coaching in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I mean, Bill Snyder's legacy will always live through what K-State's doing. And even Chris Kleiman is a different person, came from a different coaching tree, and yet some of the same things that made K-State great under Bill Snyder are still great under Chris Kleiman. He's cut from a different cloth, but still very similar. And it just shows the way the influence is still felt within this conference. Snyder's a legend.
A lot of parallels between the staffs, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, coming up next, more on this K-State-Texas Tech matchup. He's Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. We also have a TCU women's soccer player.
Congrats to
joining us.
TCU women's soccer. Won the Big 12 again for the 2nd straight year. Last night, beating Houston. So we'll talk with Seven Castaigne about the Big 12 tournament and the NCAA tournament coming up here. She's one of the best soccer players in the Big 12.
And they are top 5 in the country, nationally. That's still to come here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. We are brought to you, the Full-Time Fan, by our friends at Modelo. This is the Big 12 Conference. This is a different league. here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo on a Halloween Friday. He's Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. Just talked with Brian Cavanaugh, who is the quarterback that rushed for and threw for the first ever Big 12 touchdowns in the 1996 Texas Tech at Kansas State football game. We're breaking down all the games this weekend in the Big 12, talking coach openings. Could there be one at Baylor next week if they fall to UCF? Is definitely a point to note. There's already one open at Oklahoma State. What's the latest there?
Yeah, nothing says Halloween quite like black and orange for Oklahoma State.
Oh, yeah.
Very spooky. Sorry. According to Pete Nakos from On3 Sports, who's reporting the latest on the search for Oklahoma State, they're casting a wide net, but certainly some names that we're familiar with. One of the names, though, that was mentioned that is probably a surprise but shouldn't be is Todd Monken, who spent some time as an offensive coordinator at Oklahoma State, was the former Georgia offensive coordinator that kind of really helped to revitalize the offense at Georgia after it had gone stale under previous offensive coordinators, and now is with the Baltimore Ravens. So that's one of the names that maybe we should have thought about, but hadn't heard much about in terms of the coaching search for Oklahoma State. But also Eric Morris, that's a name that we've talked a lot about, the North Texas coach. USF's Alex Golesh is another group of six head coach to know, according to Pete Nakos. Memphis's Ryan Silverfield, and then also mentioned Colin Klein and Dana Holgorsen. Nakos also says former Oklahoma State quarterback and current Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator Zach Robinson remains a name to know, but has cooled off. And it mentions his offense ranks number 27th in the NFL, averaging 17 points a game. To me, that's like, if you're going to hire a coach based on like what they're off, like week to week, what an offense is doing, it's like, come on. You have to think more big picture than that. I mean, clearly you want a coordinator, if you're going to hire one, of an offense or a defense that's productive, but still, like, to go week to week and be like, this week we'll hire Zach Robinson, the next week we won't. I'm not saying that that's what Oklahoma State's doing, but that's how that article reads. But I mean, I think the names, I'm surprised to not see, what's the other name we mentioned? G.J. Kinney. Surprised that that's not a name we haven't heard, but yeah. So the names that Pete Nakos has thrown out there in terms of reports on interest level for Oklahoma State would be Todd Monken, the Ravens offensive coordinator, and of course former Oklahoma State offensive coordinator, Eric Morris at North Texas, Alex Golesh at South Florida, Colin Klein, the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M, and then Dana Holgorsen, who's the offensive coordinator at Nebraska. I'm out on him. I feel like I've kind of been down that road before. Hire Colin Klein. My goodness, why would you not if he's interested? To me, like, if you're going to hire a really smart offensive coordinator, let a younger coach kind of take the reins over to see what he can do as the head coach, as opposed to Holgorsen, who we've already seen.
If I'm Oklahoma State, my top three, even though they've cooled off on Zach Robinson, which that makes no sense to me, we should not be judging the quality of a young, up-and-coming 38-year-old coach based off of what his offensive numbers are in the NFL.
Week to week.
Week to week. There's so much more that goes into that. I could have told you before the season the Falcons would be 27th or 28th or whatever it is in the NFL in total offense. We knew they weren't going to be good.
Right.
It's a totally different league. Eric Morris is a young up-and-comer. If he's available and he wants the job, I'd hire that guy today.
Yep.
He also brings one of the top quarterbacks in the country, most likely with him. Eric Morris quarterbacks are loyal to him because he is so innovative. He is so elite with that position. All the guys he's tutored with Mateer at Oklahoma, Eric Morris guy. Cam Ward, number one NFL draft pick from a 2-star, no FBS offers out of high school. He's really good friends with Cliff Kingsbury.
He coached Patrick Mahomes.
Coached Patrick Mahomes. Baker Mayfield was a receiver at Texas Tech, knows the league, knows the landscape, recruits the state of Texas at a very high level.
It's almost too obvious.
He's my guy.
Yeah.
Colin Klein is another one that I'd give a shot. Now, that'll make Kansas State fans unhappy, but Colin Klein is another up-and-comer who has learned a lot, my goodness, since his playing days. He's not even, what is he, like 34? I don't even think he's 35. Super young. Todd Monken, I want to note, is not Jeff Monken, who's another name, who's the head coach at Army, who's been
correct
on a lot of these hot boards.
I'm not even sure they're related, by the way.
They're not. They're not. Just two Munkins out there. Todd Monken's already been at Oklahoma State. I'm with you. It's time for a fresh start, a program overhaul if you're going to let Mike Gundy go. If you're going to let Mike Gundy go, you can't bring in one of his guys to be the next coach at Oklahoma State. That makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, no, and Colin Klein, by the way, is 36, so a little bit older. And Eric Morris just turned 40 a few days ago.
Okay.
So for me, there's three names. If you're Oklahoma State or Baylor, which I think there's a potential for Baylor to be looking for a head coach here soon too, I'd pick one of these three names, which is Eric Morris, Colin Klein, and G.J. Kinney.
If I'm Baylor, if Baylor's looking for a new coach in the offseason, I know that this would never happen. This is so out there. I'd look at Mike Gundy. You give him resources, his recruiting ties, I still think the guy can coach football. He had no players.
Yeah, no way.
No way. I know. No way.
I'm not going to. The reason he didn't have any players was because of him. Now,
see, that's where I'm not so sure.
Well, he didn't have the resources, but that's because of him. He alienated a lot of the money, and so there are guys that are like, I will not give any money to this program as long as he's the head coach.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't disagree with everything else you said there. Guy's a hell of a football coach, great personality, but yeah, I'm Eric Morris, Colin Klein, G.J. Kinney. Hire two of those three should be coaching the Big 12 next year.
Yeah. Alex Golesh, I know his name's been up for some of these Big 12 potential openings. That guy's going to the SEC.
Yep.
He's going to the SEC, maybe the ACC. He's a West Coast or East Coast guy. Excuse me. He was at UCF, then he was at Tennessee, now he's at South Florida.
And I think Lane Kiffin's going to leave Ole Miss for Florida. So the part you have to think about there too is then, okay, so now the Ole Miss job's open, right? So
right.
It's the domino effect of not just who's going where, but then who's then hired to backfill those spots.
Exactly. There's going to be a ginormous domino effect. So 30 years ago, the Big 12 was born. Texas Tech at Kansas State, the game that launched the Big 12 Conference. We just talked with the quarterback in that game for Kansas State, Brian Cavanaugh. But also, that was more to me than just the first Big 12 game. I think in a lot of ways, it was a preview of how the league would evolve over time with offense, mobile quarterbacks, innovation. When Kansas State and Texas Tech played, Kansas State won the game, but Texas Tech had a quarterback, Zebby Lethridge, who was so before his time at that time. He was one of the nation's first ever true dual threat quarterbacks in an offense that was still very balanced. Like you had Tommy Frazier at Nebraska the year before, but he was running the triple option. He was throwing for less than 1,000 yards per year. Zebby Lethridge was a guy that was rushing for 50 or 60 yards a game, throwing for nearly 2,000 yards. Back in 96, we just didn't see that. And he was kind of the setup guy. He preceded guys like Michael Bishop at Kansas State, even Scott Frost, who threw the ball a little bit more at Nebraska post Tommy Frazier, Seneca Wallace at Iowa State, Brad Smith and Corby Jones at the time at Missouri. And then you had Michael Vick, who was the ultimate dual threat guy, and college football just exploded in terms of let's get athletic quarterbacks who can hurt you in a variety of ways. But Zebby, in a lot of ways, in that football game back in 96 was the blueprint for what we would see years to come in the Big 12 Conference.
Yeah, well said. And I think, just look at these two programs. Think about, all right, in the last 30 years, we probably have seen a dramatic increase in football programs in college. We've seen locally, Texas State, they emerged as a football program. UTSA, right? And that's just symptomatic of what's happened across the country. That they know that there's, a ton of interest in college football, a ton of dollars in college football, and so there's lots of colleges that have launched programs. And yet, despite that, in 30 years, Texas Tech and K-State remain sort of the same programs. Different coaches,
right?
Different philosophies, different personnel, virtually the same programs in terms of how, schematically they are, the types of players they recruit. And I think that's just so interesting. The sport has changed dramatically. There's an increase in the amount of programs that exist, and so many of those programs have gone through so many different massive changes. I mean, think about all of college football, all the different programs that have changed so dramatically, and yet, like, in many ways, the conference remains very similar, but also these two programs in particular. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, Spike Dykes and those Texas Tech offenses were starting to be built on tempo and spacing pre-Mike Leach in the air raid. It wasn't to that degree, but it was like, hey, let's dip our feet into this water and see how it goes. Kansas State, under Bill Snyder, in 96 was really kind of starting their rise with that ground and pound, precision, ball control, efficiency, special teams, defense, all things that we still see from Kansas State today. I think even at TCU, you go back to the Andy Dalton days. We power ranked our top 5 Andys to celebrate his birthday. They were an air raid offense, and you went through his regime, and then Trayvon Boykin, dual threat quarterback, but very much offense-oriented, tempo, scoring 50 or 60 a night. 22 TCU national championship game. That was very much they had a really good running back in Kendre Miller, but it was still built on their passing game, their explosive receivers, the air raid. You're right, these programs in a lot of ways, and it's more than just K-State and Texas Tech, have the same identity that they had 20 or 30 years ago.
Let me ask you this now as we celebrate 30 years of Big 12 football, Big 12 athletics. What does the next 30 years of Big 12 football look like?
Man, that's a good question. 30 years is. I was more thinking, what does the next 5 years look like? What does the next 10 years look like? Are there additions to the conference? Is college football going to go through another wave of conference realignment? The SEC has made it clear they don't want any more teams in their conference. They don't want another wave of conference realignment. But does the Big Ten and the Big 12 see that that's an opportunity for them? Does the ACC implode in 4 or 5 years, or even less when these buyouts are reduced significantly?
I mean, we know the answer to that question. The answer is yes. The ACC is going to implode because you've got programs that are unhappy with their situation. They're not making enough money, especially relative to their peers in the SEC and the Big Ten. And when they have their opportunity in 2030 to opt out at a cheaper rate, they're going to. I mean, these reports quiet down during the season, but make no mistake about it, they're not quieted. Those numbers are what they are. They have a TV deal that's signed through 2036. Remember, the Big 12 gets the cash back in again in 2031. The rest of the SEC, Big Ten, all around the same time. So that's not going away. So I mean, I think to answer your first question, what will the Big 12 look like in the next 30 years? To answer your first question on that, like, it's going to have, I would imagine, more teams, and there'll be many of them will be ACC castoffs. I think when you project out the next 30 years of college football and specific to the Big 12, I think you're probably looking at 3 major conferences. What that looks like, what the playoff looks like, all that stuff, who knows? But I don't think there's any question that the Big 12 will exist and be thriving because it's been set up for that way. And again, with that clock is ticking on the ACC. 2030 is coming. And when it does, North Carolina has already, the reports indicate they're going to opt out. And when that happens, so will Florida State. We're going to hear more, I'm going to imagine, throughout the offseason about the same kind of reports that come out, whether it's Clemson, whether it's North Carolina, whether it's Florida State.
Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, Pitt, Louisville, SMU. Wouldn't be surprised. Miami. Where does Miami sit? Like, where is Miami academically? Miami is a program in terms of prestige in Miami, always ranked higher than they finish because they're Miami. They're attractive for somebody. So 30 years, I think, is very different than 5 years. 5 years from now, I do think the Big 12 has expanded. I think the Big 12 is as strong as ever, and the Big 12 is thriving because the Big 12 is getting better on the gridiron. We're already there in basketball. I mean, the Big 12 is the number one conference in America, has been over the last decade. The SEC was better, RPI, analytics, all that stuff, national champion in Florida last season, but that was a one-off compared to the last decade. So the Big 12 is there in basketball. In football, I think the Big 12 is in a much stronger position this year than it was this time last year. So let's baby step this thing. Let's see if the Big 12 can win a game in the college football playoff.
And the Big 12's won national championships, and you think about back in '96, how many quality teams that were in the Big 12 in terms of playing at the top of the sport. Nebraska won national championships in the late '90s. Colorado won national championships. Had Rashaan Salam, who was a Heisman Trophy winner, was a top tier college football program. I mean, obviously Texas and Oklahoma under the same vein in terms of winning a national championship for this conference. So, I mean, 3 of those 4 aren't in the conference, and the 4th, Colorado, left the conference and rejoined it. So there's had to be kind of a re-establishment of the power of the Big 12 with the loss, a decade plus ago from Nebraska, 2 decades ago, whatever it was, of Nebraska, and obviously Texas and OU more recently. So I think that's like, how does the Big 12 regain its strength? Well, we're already seeing that. BYU has tons of revenue, tons of income and resources in order to supply that. Texas Tech, like there are powerhouse programs that are being built right now based on the state of college football.
Right. They're just new. They're just new in terms of having those type of resources. 30 years from now, I think college football and college athletics, it's the NFL. Now, I think conferences can still exist within that model, but I think that it's more an NFL Super League type model where 30 years from now, media deals, rights are bundled. You have conferences within this Super League, so the Big 12 is, let's say, 4 16 pods under the Big 12 umbrella, then the SEC and the Big 10 and whatever other conference. Maybe the Pac-12 has grown by then. It's so hard to predict 30 years from now, but looking at how different college athletics was 30 years ago from where we sit today, I think it leans more towards that direction. I don't think we're going back. I think we're going forward in terms of inching closer to college football being the NFL.
What are you going to be like at 70?
Spry as a young kitten.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, at 70?
Going to bed at 8 o'clock at night?
Oh, I mean, I'm
never leaving your house?
Basically already there.
You pretty much are a 70-year-old.
Yeah.
Never leave your house.
I'm an old soul, and you know that. Okay, so
at 9 o'clock.
At 70, I'll still be an old soul.
Doesn't use his phone.
I'll just be me now. That's the thing. I'm already 70 now. I'll just look a little bit older, but I'll still be me. Because I'm there.
We'll be hanging out and be like, you haven't changed a bit. You haven't changed a bit. You've been 70 for the last 30 years.
70 for the last 30. Yeah, maybe the last 40. That's Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. Coming up next, 7? Castaigne, TCU women's soccer player, is going to join us on Big 12 today on Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios. Today at 1 p.m. Central Time, you can catch all of our Big 12 Basketball Media Day interviews wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, On Demand. This is the Big 12 Conference. This is A Different League with Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. We are exclusively on TuneIn and streaming live on your screen via Big 12 Studios. And now we celebrate TCU women's soccer with Seven Castaigne as TCU claimed their second consecutive Big 12 regular season title. They won 2-0 over Houston last night. TCU finished their 11-game league play mark with a record of 9-1-1 and one of the best players in this conference. First team All Big 12, Seven Castaigne joins us. Congrats on another championship. How did it feel? And as you sit back here today and reflect on that accomplishment, what goes through your mind?
I mean, honestly, there's not a lot of words to describe winning a championship. You don't get to compete for them very often. A lot of teams can't say that they've gotten that opportunity, and so to get to do it not just once, but twice and back to back is absolutely huge. I mean, this team has persevered through so much. We've been through sicknesses, injuries, just tough ups and downs of trying to figure out who we are as a team. And I think the fact that we were able to pull out a championship out of that is really, really cool.
The Big 12 is a dominant soccer conference, and TCU is a dominant program. But when you look at the RPI, there's 13 of the 16 Big 12 teams are in the top 100 of the RPI, including 3 in the top 10 and 5 in the top 15. 9-1-1 was the record that TCU finishes with in conference play. I guess, Seven, my question to you is, what's with the one loss?
I mean, some teams catch you off guard for sure. I mean, we played Colorado, and I thought we played a really good game, and Colorado got 3 chances, and they put them away.
I was just kidding. I was totally kidding. 9-1-1 is incredible. It's such a good conference. And I think you finished second in the league in goals scored, and you're one of the top goal scorers in the history of TCU soccer. So I guess, what does that mean to you?
I mean, I can't do any of it without my team. They set me up, they put me in good positions, but I mean, it's really cool to do it. And I think that coming in as a freshman and having a rough experience in my first semester here, definitely looking back on it, if you would have told me as a freshman that I would have been top 5 goal scoring at TCU, had as many goals as I've had, gotten the awards that I've gotten, I wouldn't have believed you. So I think it's a really cool thing to look back on, and I'm just super grateful to see all the hard work that I've put in kind of come to fruition, and to get to do it with my sisters and the people that I love and the coaching staff that believes in me and supports me.
Seven, take us through your journey. What did you go through as a freshman to where you are now? I mean, you were first team All Big 12 last year, going to be this year. You're second in the Big 12 with 14 goals. So how did you get to this point?
So I came in a semester early. I decided to graduate high school a little bit early just because I knew that I was going to have a harder time with the transition. I'm an only child. Never been away from my parents, and so wanted to kind of give myself a leg up before we got into the time in season where everyone comes in and the coaches aren't there to develop you, they're there to win games, and that's what the fall is. And so that first semester was kind of a shock for me. It was a culture shock. It was, I mean, school was never really an issue, but soccer, the speed of play gets faster. It's more physical. Girls are more intense. There's a lot of voices. And so my first semester, I think I was just kind of spinning and reeling and just didn't really know how to handle it. And at the end of that semester, I kind of had to sit down with myself and say hey, is this something that you really want to do? Because if it is, you're going to have to fight through it. And I told myself when I was getting recruited that I did not want to transfer. I was I'm not transferring. I'm picking this place for my 4 years, and I'm going to thug my way through it, and whatever happens, happens. So I went home and worked my butt off. I tried to get myself back in shape, tried to get my confidence back, just tried to find myself as a player again. And then when I came in the fall of my freshman year, our starting winger ended up getting hurt, and so I got to get 9 starts. And so I think that from that point on, it was kind of just growth semester over semester. And so each semester I always try to come back with something new to add to my game, whether that's leadership or a new kind of shot, a different level of confidence, something along those lines, so that I always feel like I'm improving. And I think freshman year was a lot of just trying to survive in this environment. I think sophomore year was finding myself as a forward. Junior year was, hey, I know who I am. I have to start believing I'm good enough. And then I think this year has been enjoying every single moment.
How do you finish the job this year and win a national championship? Like how difficult is that? And what do you think the team needs to do that?
It's obviously incredibly difficult. Only one team in the country gets to do it. But I will say that the best way to go about it is taking it game by game. From here on out, it's one game, and if you win, you keep going, and if you lose, you're done. And so I think when you look at it that way, it's really like easy to get it's easier to stay in the present when you look at it one game at a time, and it's like, hey, we focus on this opponent, and like we have BYU next week, and like that's where that starts. And so I think staying focused in that moment, full 90 minutes of working hard, effort, being sharp on details, because I think earlier in the season we had a lot of like a couple minutes here where we might have dropped a goal or we weren't as sharp as we needed to be. And I think when it comes down to national championships and competing for those, like you have to be sharp for a full 90 minutes and up until 120 minutes if you have to play that long. And so I think for us, it's really about staying sharp in those moments and staying focused and present.
Seven Castaigne from TCU Women's Soccer. That is an exceptional story you told us about just everything you went through as a freshman, being an only child. Your name's Seven. There has to be some background there. I'm sure you've never been asked that before. Where does it come from?
Well, and are you a fan of the show Seinfeld, or have you ever heard of Seinfeld?
So I've heard of it, and everyone always asks me if that's where I get my name from.
Right, because it's famous. There's an episode where George Costanza wants to name his kid Seven after Mickey Mantle, the number that he wore. So anytime I hear that name, I think of that.
Yeah. My parents had a really hard time having me. They had me a little bit later in life, and seven means lucky, completion, and perfection. It was like the final piece to our family, and so I really strive for that excellence every single day, and I think it's a privilege to have such a cool name.
That's awesome. Yeah, seven's a good number, I guess, in Vegas, so that makes a ton of sense. That's an amazing story. And I think, like, probably something that's motivated you throughout your life.
Yeah, for sure. I think, like, for me, like, I've always been a little bit of a perfectionist. And so I definitely have had to learn, like, you strive for that, but you're never possibly going to reach it. And so always having that mindset of, like, hey, I'm going to do as close to perfect as possible, but, like, also having grace with yourself of knowing, like, there's only one perfect man in this world, and that's God.
What type of support does TCU Women's Soccer get? Do the fans show up? Are you, when you're on campus and walking around and going to classes, do people know that, TCU Women's Soccer is the juggernaut that it truly is?
Yeah, I mean, we get an unbelievable amount of support. I think in my time here, we've gotten up to like 3,000 fans at games. Our entire stadium will be filled. People will be behind the fences. It's really cool. I think the Fort Worth community as a whole is really close, and it's very soccer invested from like a youth standpoint and a college standpoint. And so that's always been really cool. And I think that's one of my favorite things about playing here in Fort Worth is like the fans make it so much more fun. We kind of feed off of their energy. But yeah, I definitely think that people know like TCU Women's Soccer is who we are. I mean, we've worked for it, and the school supports us, and they're sending out emails, posting stuff on campus. I mean, we couldn't have better support, in my opinion.
Yeah, 2 straight outright Big 12 regular season championships, 4 in the last 6 years. TCU Women's Soccer is an absolute beast in the Big 12. All right, so what does your future hold, Seven? What are your future plans?
I want to keep playing soccer. So going pro at the next level is definitely my goal. I want to play at the highest level and continue to grow as a player. It's all about being the best person and player I can be, and wherever that takes me is where I want to be. Outside of that, I'm really into writing, and so I've been working at TCU Press and kind of getting some experience in like the editing and publishing industry and learning what I like there and what that could possibly look like for me after soccer's done.
I'm always curious too about international competition. Is that something you've ever done in terms of playing for a national team?
I have not.
Got it. How does that work? You have to get like I know there's all different 15U or what, so give me a better sense of like how that whole situation plays out.
It's kind of separated by age groups, like you said. So it'll be like under 15. I think there's up until like under 19, under 20, and then there's under 23, and then there's the full team. And you get called into camps, and then from camps, I think they like do rosters for like World Cups, like all that kind of stuff. Obviously, haven't gotten the opportunity myself, but definitely looking forward to it when it does happen.
Seven Castaigne is with us as TCU claims their second straight Big 12 regular season title last night with a 2-0 win over Houston. All right, Seven, let's get to know you a little bit here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios. What are 3 words you would use to describe you off the field?
Off the field, probably perfectionist, intense, and creative.
3 great words. Not exactly words you'd use to describe yourself, James.
Well, let's lean into the creative part, okay? You said you do some writing. Where does your creativity come from, and how do you let that part of your personality shine?
I don't know if I can say that I really know where it comes from. I've always just loved like things in the arts. In high school, like I had to like pick an orchestra instrument, so I played the violin in high school for like 5 years. I was in AP art. I love photography. I'm really into writing. But I think I've just always loved the idea of creating stories. I think everything in this life, like everything in life, is a story, and I think ways that we can express it are really cool. And I definitely just like to bring my experiences that I've had, like off the field, on the field, into my writing and kind of sharing it with people so that they can get that shared experience, and so that you always know that, like, hey, there's someone out there going through what you're going through. Mm-hmm. And there's someone out there who also, like, understands it. And I think the way that we can use those stories to be a bigger community is really, really cool. And so I think that, like, that's my goal. And, like, being creative and trying to show that on and off the field is, like, just always letting people know that there's someone in their corner and that there's someone who understands, and kind of just always emphasizing that shared experience.
You have any plans tonight for Halloween?
Yeah, me and my roommates and our boyfriends are all going to a haunted house tonight.
Awesome. Are you going to dress up?
Yes.
As?
Me and my boyfriend are being Lilo and Stitch.
Nice.
Awesome.
It was his idea.
That's creative.
Which one's Lilo? Which one's... I'm just kidding.
He's definitely Stitch.
That's amazing. Seven Castaigne, TCU Women's Soccer. Congrats on another championship, and thank you so much for your time, for coming on the program this morning. Best of luck as you go further and work towards an NCAA title.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Seven.
Seven Castaigne, TCU Women's Soccer, senior, first team All Big 12 season ago. Currently second in the Big 12 with 14 goals, third in TCU history for goals with 35, fourth all-time in TCU program history for points. TCU top 5 in the country.
Yeah, and, you know, again, the Big 12 is a powerhouse for women's soccer. You look at it, you know, TCU and the RPI is ranked 3rd. I know they're ranked 5th nationally, but in terms of the RPI, West Virginia is 7, Colorado 10, Baylor 11, Kansas 13, Texas Tech 17. So you look at the top 17, you got 6 teams. You have 13 of them in the top 100. So there should be a lot of tournament teams as the NCAA tournament inches closer. Next week is the Big 12 tournament, and then follows that is the NCAA tournament. We'll have plenty to come next week on the women's soccer Big 12 tournament.
Where do you stand on haunted houses?
I'm pro. I'm pro haunted houses.
There's got to be some awesome haunted houses.
Actually, I'm not going to lie. I hate haunted
I
houses.
was going to say, same.
The thing that I always hated about haunted houses is the pop out, like things that just like pop out at you,
Right.
which is, it's like
At our age, sets your nervous system on fire.
a blaze. Yeah.
Yes.
And I know both my kids like would not like it. So no, yeah, it's, and like some of the people in my neighborhood take Halloween way too seriously and like way scary stuff where it's like, I mean,
It's like, chill, bro.
I'm kind of scared. Like, let alone my 6-year-old who's scared of everything. I mean, you know, like, easy. You're scaring the kids. You're scaring the adults. Things pop out at you. It's like, ah.
I only run from clowns.
Clowns are freaky.
Not a fan.
Not a fan of any clown.
No, don't like.
Remember the clowns that were like showing up in parking lots like before COVID, like 6-7 years ago? They would just walk up to somebody. Somebody would be dressed up as a clown, and then you're putting your groceries in your car, and they would just walk up to you.
Homie the Clown. Remember Homie the Clown from Mad TV?
Yes.
Yeah. Same
I don't
kind of
like
thing.
any of them.
Well, and
It's really creepy.
again, to my neighborhood, people take it way too far. Somebody put like clown arms in the sewers in our neighborhood. You drive around, you see like it. It's like, what are we
Yeah.
doing?
Somebody's down there.
Or like, what person has enough time and or money to be spending to dress up the neighborhood with it all over your sewer. It's too much.
I will say I applaud the effort. In Switzerland, you can actually hire a clown to stalk somebody for up to a week. It's a real thing.
What do you mean? Like
What?
Like it's legal to do that? I don't think it's legal to stalk anybody.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it might be. I don't know. Switzerland. It's a look it up. It's a thing.
For a country that doesn't like to get involved in wars, that seems a bit extreme.
Wars? No. Clowns stalking? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Here
Why
for it.
clowns? Can I?
Drake meme.
I don't know.
It's a
Can I
war
hire?
when you have clowns.
Can I hire like a Roger Federer lookalike to stalk somebody?
Has to be a clown. Clowns only. Clowns only. .com. All right, that's going to do it for this week for us here on Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. Coming up next, you will see a replay and hear a replay from our women's basketball media coverage. You can catch your favorite team, whoever that might be, on our podcast page as of 1 o'clock Central today.
No, the podcasts are always open. On TuneIn Radio Live, you can catch all.
TuneIn Radio Live. That's it. That's the clarification I needed.
The podcasts are always open.
That's
James.
why we make such a great team.
Starting at 1 o'clock
You guys
Central.
are shouting at me rapid fire during the break. It's all very confusing. Somebody said cart number.
Yeah,
I
James.
heard cart number. I checked out.
James, you are
Okay.
a 70-year-old man and a 40-year-old
This
body.
isn't
100%.
KIUL. All right.
He's aging by the minute.
At 1 o'clock today, right here on Big 12 Radio, you can catch all of our Big 12 Media Day coverage. It's always on the podcast page, Spotify, Apple, tune in on demand. But up next, live on the program, Women's Basketball Media Days, UCF, followed by West Virginia Men's Basketball. We'll talk with their new head coach, Ross Hodge, and a couple of players. He's Ari Timken. I'm James Westling. Taman Turner, our producer. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio. You're watching us on Big 12 Studios.
Let's talk UCF women's basketball here from Big 12 Media Days, along with James Westling and Austin Ivan. I am Ari Temkin with Sitya Messer, UCF head women's basketball coach. What's going on, Sitya? How are you?
Hello. Good morning. How are you guys?
Great. Excited to have you with us. Excited to be here again. Excited for another basketball season. What's top of mind for you right now?
Oh, my God. I love this time of year. I absolutely do it. I am very excited about our season. Man, we've had some really good practices. Our players have been, coming in, working hard, our staff as well. And I'm just very thankful for their efforts, and we're ready for the season.
Coach, take me back to the last few months recruiting. How intentional were you with trying to get physical players? I know that was something you were looking for.
Yeah, and we feel like we gotten physical players, but I was intentional about players who had speed, grit, okay, and could really had a being intentional about playing defense, because we want to make it ugly on the on our opponent's offensive end with our defensive intensity. So we were very intentional. We feel like we got some really good players. We have 3 that are with us now. And Leah, she's a transfer from Miami that can do it all. She's a point guard who really, really can run the floor. She's the general. Then we have Mahogany. Mahogany is a forward from Portland, Oregon, a true sophomore with us. Had an opportunity to transfer. A lot of people came at her, but she wanted to continue to grow and do what we do here at Night Nation. And then we also have Kai, who is a junior for us, and she's been with us all 3 years. And I expect big things from her.
Coach, tell us about Leah Harmon. You have to replace some scoring in the backcourt, and she was a highly touted recruit out of high school. So tell us about her game.
Well, Leah is the first time I've coached in my career at UCF a true point guard. She's a true point guard. So there's things that she's my floor general. I trust her with the team. And she has the ability to score, to dish the ball. And she has the ability, her knowledge of the game, IQ is second to none. And so she does a great job of leading this team. And I am excited for Leah to have the opportunity. She had a little chip on her shoulder. And I'm excited for that to be displayed at UCF.
Having worked under Kim at 2 different places and 2 different high-level programs, how do you build that? What's the secret sauce to that?
Under who?
Under Kim?
Kim Mulkey?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Being at Baylor and LSU, two elite programs, how do you build that at UCF?
Well, Coach Mulkey, has done an amazing job. She's an amazing woman who have done really good jobs at her programs. But the one thing I took from Coach Mulkey is preparation. Like, you build programs like that through preparation. We prep for Grambling State just like we would prep for UConn. And so I really think that that's the biggest thing that I've taken from her, and has helped with success in life throughout any course.
You're talking about preparation. We also talked about defense. Take me into one of your practices this summer. What's it look like? How much are you guys working on the defensive end? Just what's the chemistry like building that up as you get ready for this season?
This summer was a loud gym. Like, I like that, man. Our players were going at it. So we started, we would go sometimes 1 hour a day, sometimes 2, depending on our hours that are permitted through the NCAA. And I tell you, we started off with 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, building up with just a zigzag drill, just building up with our pace and how we're going to defend people, and talking and being loud and getting your hands up and cutting off angles. That was very important and intentional by our staff this summer.
Coach, in this conference, UCF is still, to us, feels relatively new in this league. How do you build a consistent identity in such a physical league?
Yeah. The consistency is, you really got to take advantage of your off seasons and your strength and conditioning, because this is a physical league. I mean, Crooks at Iowa State is one of the best players in the country, and to go at her night in and night out, you got to be physical. So we really are intentional in our off season and being physical. In our drills, and we start off with pads in our practices. It's just to show them that it's going to be tough in the Big 12.
You want to ask your random off the wall ChatGPT question, James?
Okay, let's go.
Absolutely.
This is more of a get to know
Rapid
you.
fire.
Random. Yeah, I know, right?
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, that's easy. Vanilla Ice, baby. Doom, 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 doom. Hey, you got it. That's my go-to.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. You can't go
Awesome.
wrong with that.
There it is.
Thanks, Coach.
That's your song you listen to before every game too.
Oh yeah.
The hype song.
Give me a hype.
Cynthia Messer, head basketball coach for UCF women's basketball. Thanks for your time. Good luck this season. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Here, Mike Side at Big 12 Women's Basketball Media Days, the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, along with Austin Ivan. I am Ari Temkin, and we are joined now by a couple of UCF Knights, Mahogany Chandler Roberts and Leah Harmon. What's going on? How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
All right, so Mahogany, we got to let the cat out of the bag here, so to speak. You are holding a puppy.
Yes, I am.
We are situated next to the Humane Society of Kansas City, so this will be, I would imagine, a common occurrence today, but are you a dog? I mean, I'm assuming you're a dog person. Do you have a dog?
No, I don't have a dog because I won't have time to take care of one.
Yeah,
but
that's
this
smart.
dog is just so cute, and he's been asleep the whole time. This is Timothy, and he just needs to be by my side for right now because he's just so adorable.
Looks like you may have a dog by the end of this thing.
I know. I'm gonna buy him.
I think if the whole team helped take care of the dog, it would be okay for the
Yeah,
season.
I
think that too.
Yeah.
Leah said we should get a team
It would be
dog.
hard on your own. I totally get it. But I think if you had everyone helping, bring them to practice, put a little crate up, it'd be perfect.
It would.
Puppies are tough, though, Austin. I mean, that's the thing. You
I
know.
know. You forget about like the accidents, the chewing on things.
Suddenly there's
the jersey right before a game or something. That's what happened.
the dog just eats all the jerseys.
Right.
It's like, well, we don't have anything to play in, guys.
Right.
The dog ate our jerseys. I don't know how
And
they ate that
shoes.
much.
Yeah, the shoelaces for sure.
I think they're a good distraction. Honestly, like if I have a long practice, I just want to come home and play with my dog. We don't do anything but practice and come home. So like
Yeah.
I think there's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gotta find a little sitter like on game day or something.
Yeah.
That's true.
A good
Yeah.
stress reliever. You're talking about practice, though. Take me into one of your practices this summer. Coach was talking about a lot of defense. So, what did it look like this summer when you guys were practicing?
Just a lot of conditioning. I mean, we're a fast team, so we want to get up and get out in transition, get stops. So I think just diving in on the details, just making sure we're playing hard every possession, not giving up on plays, going for every loose ball. I think that's the main thing that Coach's been harping on. So, yeah, just being intense on defense and practice all the time and competing against each other.
Yeah, just adding on to that, just mainly, defense, just going at it every time, and conditioning as well. Conditioning has been a really big part, especially in the summer. Man, conditioning we come in thinking, we're going to maybe scrimmage or shoot shots. No, we're
Get
on
on
the
that
track,
track.
conditioning. But it's really just going to make us better because, like Coach said, we are a very fast team, and, getting transition points is, one thing that Coach harps on. So, conditioning plays a really big role in that.
Why'd you guys choose UCF?
For me personally, I just, even coming here and just talking to the coaching staffs, I just felt like it was home. I wanted to go to a place where, I'm leaving my family. I'm from Oregon.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're from Portland. That is a long way.
Long way. So I want to make sure I'm coming to a place where I feel like, I have my second family, and that's how I felt. And I feel like Coach Messer has a really big plan for UCF, and I just see her vision, and I'm just willing to, get better and see how it goes.
Yeah, same. To just piggyback off that, I'm a transfer, so I think going through my recruitment process, I just wanted to focus on somebody that, it felt like home, someone that I can talk to outside of basketball, and I think I felt like she trusted me before I even, committed and stuff like that. And just playing for a coach who trusts you to make decisions and trusts you to go out there and, do your thing, I think is very important, other than, just your playing ability. So, yeah, she's super cool. I can talk to her about anything, and I think that just makes me comfortable in my decision, and that's really what played a part. And the whole coaching staff, honestly, everyone is the same. You know what you're going to get from them every single day. They didn't switch from the visit to when I got there, so, yeah.
You're away from home. You're away from your guys' family. What do you do in the summer or during the season to stay connected with each other to build that family chemistry that you have on the team?
I just think, we're with each other every day, but I think just buying into each other, wanting to play for each other, I think grows you closer just in general. But, we hung out a lot during the summer, did little things. We're in Orlando, so, we went up to, Disney Springs. We'll do little
There we
things
go.
like that.
Yeah.
It's hot, go to the pool. So, yeah.
Yeah, just what Leah said, even, spending time with each other on the court, but off the court as well, because that's how we really connect with each other and build that chemistry. And I feel like during the summer we did that a lot. Like we found something to do all the time, and like we made sure to include everybody on the team as well. Yeah.
We're with Mahogany Chandler Roberts and Leah Harmon here, UCF women's basketball players from Big 12 Radio, Big 12 Today, exclusively on TuneIn and Big 12 Studios. All right, so what are your goals this year, both personally and then for the team?
For me personally, I would say just growing every day, being willing to do things that I'm not comfortable with, and just being willing to learn new things as well. And I feel like as a team is just to work hard and stack days. Coach Messer and all the coaches preach every day. Every day we come to practice, we need to give it our all on stack days. And that's just been a goal of ours, and just to give it all we got and give it on the floor and play for each other and play for ourselves as well.
Yeah, just piggyback off that. Me personally, coming in as a point guard, I just think I want to be a good leader and just be good for my teammates. Just knowing how to get the best out of them in practice and games, like what they need from me to do their best, to feel their best. I think as a team, like Magni said, stack days. I mean, we're also a new team. We have a lot of transfers, so just to build our chemistry together and just learn each other, I think is our main goals, and just take it game by game, practice by practice, and just get better every time we step on the court with each other. So.
With those transfers, I want you guys to both name a player, someone that's not here at Media Days, but you both expect to have a big season this year.
Honestly, I think everybody plays a big part on our team. People have different roles,
Right.
and everyone needs to buy into their role for us to be successful. And I think if everyone plays their part really well, everyone can be successful, especially the team as a whole can be successful. So I think everyone plays a big part in our team this year.
Yeah, I think Leah just said it great. I think everybody's been working hard and doing their best to, play their role well in the team, and I think that's important. I think that's something that we need, and yeah.
All right, random get-to-know-you question. This is the same question that we asked your coach. Your go-to karaoke song. She said Vanilla Ice, which is a throwback.
What's that song? I don't even know it.
If you hear it, you'll know it.
Yeah, you
So
would know
90s.
it. You would absolutely know
Super
it.
90s.
I'd probably say "Listen" by Beyonce.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna have to say a Beyonce song. I'll probably say "Me, Myself, and I" by Beyonce. That's a good one.
Nice.
I
Those
don't know
are
why
good
it took her
ones.
so long. She acting like she don't be singing all
No,
in the
I
car.
do sing a lot. I do sing.
Because she was giving it some deep thought. Like, there were a lot of songs she was going through in her head.
Yeah,
Contemplating
any song.
it.
But I would also say "Last Christmas" by Wham. That's a good
Oh.
one.
That is
We're almost
that
to
was-
Christmas. It's okay. Just
But
4 months away.
and Wham! From
Yeah.
Beyonce to Wham!
Yeah, you gotta mix up. You gotta have a different mix of
Yeah.
genres
Yeah,
with your music.
I agree.
The versatility in the
Yeah.
game and in the
Yeah,
music
and in the
selection.
music.
Yeah, that's Mahogany Chandler Roberts, Leah Harmon. Good luck this year, guys. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And Timothy.
Yeah, Timothy. Can't forget Timothy.
Big 12 Today here on Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios, now joined by West Virginia new basketball coach Ross Hodge, who brought everybody from North Texas with him, coaching staff. You got a couple players here talking about that brand of basketball, and two really impressive young guys. I mean, how do you feel about your leadership and the roster that you've put together?
Yeah, feel really fortunate to be able to have those two guys come with. Obviously both of them could have went to really anywhere, and they made the transition easy, which I think helps in this time period of college basketball where you're going to have so much turnover on your roster, to be able to have some stability within our staff. And those two pillars kind of, your point guard and then a versatile forward gives you kind of two pillars on both ends of the floor that can help everybody else.
Coach, how was your adjustment been from Denton to Morgantown?
Yeah, that's you go from and you spend a lot of time in Texas, obviously, and you go from relative anonymity. When you're in Denton, you're pushed up against the Metroplex. You got the Cowboys, the Rangers, the Mavericks, the Stars, TCU, SMU, Baylor, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Houston. Yeah. I mean, a myriad of schools. And when you're the head coach at West Virginia, you're one of the most recognizable people in the state. And so no matter where you're going, whether it's a Sheetz gas station or Kroger or anywhere, people are going to know who you are. And they've been incredibly welcoming, really, really nice people. Now, we haven't lost a game yet, so I'm sure that'll change a little bit. But, no, they just really incredible people. And, they live and die, with the Mountaineers.
Coach, every single time I talk to somebody about you, the word that they always use is humble, low-key, down-to-earth type of guy. How have you handled this newfound, I guess, quote-unquote fame in this town of Morgantown? Because you're right. When you look at Bob Huggins, when you look at some of the coaches who have been there, you are a superstar because there's no other team there for sure. So how have you handled that, being such a low-key, just, chill, laid-back guy?
Yeah, just, try not to just try to be myself, and try to be who I am. And again, I grew up in Texas, and I always say there's a lot of similarities between West Virginians and Texans. A lot of blue collar, hard working. In Texas, you're going to have more like ranching and oil, and then in West Virginia, you have oil and gas, but the coal mining industry and just like blue collar, simple people, down to earth people. And try to be who I am in that space, and don't think I'm certainly more important than I am, because I'm not that important. But again, people make it easy because they're so low key with their approach, and they're humble and humility and loyalty, and so it kind of makes it easy to be yourself. You don't feel like you got to be something that you're not.
The days of the coach stalking up and down the sideline, without much of assistant's help, seems to go out the window. That's one of the things I admire in watching Grant's team, is the activity of the bench during games is wild, something you were a part of. You just don't see that, and it's, to me, finding the right matchups, being strategic, possession by possession, like you're at a major advantage if you're doing it versus not. Is that something that you learned and are doing as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I was really fortunate, Coach Mack gave me the great opportunity to have my imprints on our program there, and I've done the same. And again, that's a big part of why I think we've been able to have a not seamless necessarily, but an easier transition than starting completely over, because we did bring our entire staff from North Texas with me to Morgantown, and Johnny Estelle, Jace Hurl, Phil Forte, who played in the league at Oklahoma State, and Mike Randall, Andre Shaw, just really talented basketball coaches that are all going to be head coaches when their time comes, and so empowering them. And I always say, whether it's assistants, GA, student assistants, like we all really have equal value in a program. We have different roles, no different than your players, but everybody's important and everybody matters.
Ross, last one, then we have to let you go, but Where did you get your defensive-minded pedigree? Because you spent so many years in the JUCO ranks, and you were so successful. People think of JUCO basketball; they don't think defense; they think offense. So, where did that come from?
Yeah, I think some of it was just my beginnings as a basketball player. I wasn't the most talented person on the court, and had to play with a certain level of edge and toughness and competitiveness just to get on the floor. And then I was fortunate, played for a really good high school coach, Leonard Bishop, who went on to win a national championship at Dallas Lincoln. He coached Chris Bosh. That was my first introduction to how important players are. Yeah, because I'm like, well, he's running the same thing he's running there that he ran with us, and we won like 19 games and they won 40. But he was coaching Ross Hodge at Seagoville, and he was coaching Chris Bosh at Dallas Lincoln. So, he was a tough, hard-nosed man-to-man defense. My junior college coaches, the college coaches I played for, and so really it was just the guys that I worked for and played for, and my identity, and just kind of what the teams that I've coached have embraced. And obviously, if you're going to be good in this league, you better be able to defend, and you better have a certain level of toughness, or it won't work out for you.
Yeah, great story, Coach. Appreciate your time. Best of luck this season.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
West Virginia coach Ross Hodge here at Big 12 Media Days, talking West Virginia basketball on Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios. Big 12 Today here on Big 12 Radio, heard exclusively on TuneIn. You're watching us via Big 12 Studios. Now talking West Virginia men's basketball with a couple of players. Jasper Floyd and Brennan Lorient are joining us here. New coach at West Virginia, Ross Hodge, comes from North Texas. You were with him last year at UNT, had a fantastic year in the American. What parallels do you see in the way he has built this team from his North Texas teams? He's a guy that really rose in the JUCO ranks, and everybody thinks JUCO basketball is all offense, but then at North Texas, like, you guys were legit defensively. So what's Coach been like?
Coach been great. Like you said, he's a defensive-minded coach, and like you said, constructing that roster, he likes those small elite shooters, scorers. Then you got a strong guard and all rotating defense around that. So it's just been great. Like I said, I was there last year. It's been a smooth transition.
Yeah, both of you guys, both North Texas players. So, that's an interesting dynamic. We talk with so many players that are here that are on a new team with all new players. And it's like that with West Virginia, except there's some familiarity with at least you guys coming over with Coach Hodge. What kind of an advantage does that give you, especially from a leadership perspective?
I would say, first of all, it's a blessing because it doesn't happen everywhere.
Right.
Coaches don't always take players with them. Let alone the coaching staff, the strength and conditioning coach, the athletic trainer. So just that feeling of being around all the same people that was there last year, and that family-oriented feeling, it's a blessing. From the leadership role perspective, it's great because we basically know we can almost run practice ourselves. We know what's coming up next. We know the drills that they're calling out, how to put our teammates in the right spots and positions to be able to do the things that coach is looking for. And this is my first time being with the same coaching staff 2 years in a row, so it's allowed me to have a sense of comfortability, but at the same time they push me to be the best player that I can be.
There are so many North Texas guys at West Virginia. You guys are like the West Virginia Mean Green.
It's really weird.
Now.
The athletic director, it's weird.
Right. The connection. You said he brought his entire staff?
Entire staff.
Yeah, Ren too.
North Texas was really good last year. Like, I watched you guys several times and thought that's a really connected basketball team. The way you guys share the basketball. How much of that is his system?
I would say, like you said, he's defensive-minded first, but on the offensive end, he really just go make a play, trust in your teammates, and just have faith in one another to get the job done, night in, night out, and just be selfless at all times.
It's interesting that you said that on the floor you can see us how it looks like we play really well and connected together. Before every game, he writes up on the board, it says stay together 40 minutes. So it's preached. So to be able to, have someone say that it's shown on the floor, it shows that the hard work and the things that we do for each other, it pays off.
I might have some eligibility left. If guys are coming back to college from overtime elite,
Maybe.
go to the G League and come back to college. I don't know what's going on there.
Crazy.
How do you guys win in the Big 12 in year one?
Man, like you said, it's definitely a big jump for everybody. It's our first year for everybody, coach, players included. And I think we just the only way to attack it is just attacking the day every day, getting better every day, and giving our best effort every single time we step out on the floor.
I would say just believing in not only ourselves and our abilities, but the coaching staff, and setting goals and believing in those goals, putting in the work to be able to achieve those goals as well.
Are there any other players from North Texas that came over, or is it just you two?
Just us.
Anybody else on the roster? I mean, this is a brand new roster. Anybody else on the roster that has stood out to you guys, flash, that maybe nobody knows about yet, but these are guys that could really play?
I'll say a couple. We got our 5-man, Harlan, Obioha. We got a guy from SEC, Morris Ugasuk. He's good, and a young bull. He committed, classed up to come to college. Amir Jenkins. He's a good point guard, and he's not very well known because he didn't play his senior year yet, but y'all know who he will be soon.
Do you guys? Sorry, go ahead.
Jasper's going to answer
Yeah,
that.
I was going to add in not only those three, but Chance Moore from St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, my fault.
He's a gamer for sure. And then Jackson Fields, he's been out the past couple months, but due to an injury, but he's coming back, and he's going to be an important piece to our rotation too.
I was leaving those guys for him.
Of course.
Right. How do you guys like Morgantown? It's a little bit different than Denton, Texas.
Way different.
We're both from Florida too.
You're both from Florida?
We're both from Florida.
I've called games at West Virginia.
It's definitely getting used to, but the fans definitely make it a better experience and how much they care for the team, and because that's the only team in the whole state. So, so they really love it, and it's just a boost in energy for us.
Are you guys ready to play in front of those fans? They're
sure.
crazy.
For sure.
In the best way. It's pretty awesome.
We keep hearing about it. We can't wait for, putting on a really good product out on the floor for them.
They sing Ari's favorite song at the end of every game. It's a whole thing.
Country roads, take me home. It's a great song. To the place.
Man.
I went to KU, but I'll sing it. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alumni, KU.
Yeah. He went to K-State, so.
Oh, K-State.
I love how I had to bring that up, too, just
I
in
don't know,
case.
he likes to tell everybody that. I don't know why.
Don't be sad come that game. Please don't be sad.
Right. I will be. Very. Don't do it. I'm just kidding.
What's one thing about you guys that fans maybe don't see or know about you guys? We're doing like a personality thing here. Give us a fun fact.
Man, I love to offshore fish. Like if you fish.
Ari's wearing a fishing shirt.
Ish. It's it's not like, it's more of like a, I have like actual fishing shirt. I love to fish too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure growing up in Florida, it's like amazing fishing.
Amazing, man. I love to fish offshore, inshore. It doesn't matter. Anywhere I'll fish.
What's the most fun you've had fishing?
The most fun I've had fishing, I feel like most fun you get fishing is probably like going after a dolphin or a mahi. That's probably the best because they give you a real good chase.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Have you caught mahi?
Yeah.
How big?
Probably not too crazy. Probably about 10 inches. Solid fish. Not grown. I've never caught a full-grown one, but smooth.
Yeah, I went to Alaska. I turned 40 in August. I went to Alaska, went salmon fishing.
Wow.
That was fun.
They got big salmon up there.
Huge, except that we were kind of late for the king salmon season, so we only caught like smaller ones and then had to throw them back. But we caught a lot of the white salmon, the pink salmon, some of the other ones. But yeah, it's a blast, man. There's nothing better. Especially like when you're having a good day on the water.
Like with great people, you just can't beat it.
Yeah.
All right, Jasper, you going to be able to top that? This fishing talk?
I got a son that's about to turn 2 in January.
You have a son?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so pretty much, having that burden, really it's a blessing, having that blessing to know that I'm playing for someone and something bigger than myself.
Yeah, makes you a man.
What's his name?
Levi.
Levi.
Yeah.
That's great. Man, that's the sign of a mature guy. You being a father.
Yeah, James has 4 kids, and he's not mature at all.
It's actually 5.
5 kids.
Thanks,
Man.
He just had one a second ago. He just keeps having them. They just keep falling out.
Man. Is that your goal?
I'm shooting for a dozen. It's like we're going to make some movies.
Wait, are you
Wait,
serious?
for real?
It's good. No.
Oh, okay.
I'm done.
No,
Fellas, I'm done, fellas.
He's got 5.
No,
with,
I'm done. I'm
5 with 3.
For 4 was
3 women.
For 4 too many.
I'm one of 7.
You and your
so-
You're one of
Okay.
7?
Yeah.
2 boys.
Okay, you get it.
Yeah.
You?
Big family.
Yeah, huge family.
You, Brendan?
Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't got any kids.
Not
but
yet, yeah.
I got a big family, though, yeah.
How many siblings?
I got 5.
Okay, see? How much fun was it growing up in a house with all those siblings?
A lot of fun.
At times.
A lot of fun, Ari.
Yeah, at times.
At times.
You don't remember all the fights you had, I'm sure. Like,
Worried about those.
Food, taking your stuff.
Splitting
We're
the
not worried
time.
about that. Look at that. That's awesome.
is there good fishing in West Virginia?
I'm waiting for somebody to
Yeah,
take me.
yeah.
I haven't found. And the boat rentals, they don't offer fishing expeditions, so.
Really?
Nah. They only got Chi Lake, but hey.
It's got to be
Awesome.
better than fishing in Dallas, though.
Awesome. Awesome. This guy can talk fish all day. All
love it.
day. Man, you guys are easy to root for. We're excited for West Virginia basketball this year. Good luck.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Take care.
you.
Thank you.
Talking West Virginia hoops with Jasper Lloyd and Brennan Lorient here at Big 12 Basketball Media Days in Kansas City. This is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio and Big 12 Studios.